All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of John and Jim underway on this Thursday afternoon. As Jim just told you, I heard the one part about the Sean Lewis show. You'll hear that coming up tonight at 6 p.m. What a world we live in when it comes to college athletics. We will even since I recorded with Sean, because I'll take you behind the curtain, me and Rich, we recorded this and we did it yesterday. From the time I left his office until right now, everything has already changed in college athletics. We talked a little bit about this yesterday.
Yeah, Michigan's looking for a new head coach. I don't know if there's reports on the AD being fired are true or not, but anyway.
There's a report even at this hour that San Diego State's edges coach is following Rob Orich to Nebraska, which is not a surprise. It's very typical that a coordinator would take a coach from that staff with him to the next school. It's almost like inevitable when you get a job. So the point is it's changing at lightning pace, and we'll get into it at 6 p.m. with Sean Lewis.
That's sending shockwaves around college football.
What, the fact that San Diego State's edge coach went from listen, San Diego State's defense has been unbelievable. So, and Rob Orich, it's a big hire, obviously, in college athletics. But yeah, I don't think it's the story of the day around college football. Let's start by thanking our listeners for the support of the iHeartRadio Children's Give-A-Thon again. Total contributions this year were over $415,000, which is incredible. Now, Amazing. That wasn't just our station, I don't think, but I'll pretend like it was.
No, it was just our show, actually.
It was our show, raised $415,000. Is
that good?
So we've got the best listeners, I think, in San Diego. I really do believe that, regardless. And the total amount that's been raised for the iHeartRadio Children's Give-A-Thon is $3.65 million.
Wow.
Which is what Jim makes in a half year. So it's a good amount of money.
I make that in an hour, bro.
So $3.65 million is really impactful for families and children in San Diego County. So thank you. Seriously, there are some of the more rewarding days that we do. Listen, we will complain about Robert Suarez and AJ Preller and John Seidler and the Padres rotation momentarily. Don't make no mistake. I promise you we will do that. But in terms of things that actually matter, $3.65 million raised over the years, $415,000 this year. Another amazing event over the last 2 days here at iHeart.
Yeah, no, I've always said it's two of the best days of the year at iHeartRadio in San Diego. The job that everyone does behind the scenes to help put this thing together. The generous donations from all of our listeners across all of our stations here at iHeart. It's just absolutely amazing, and the fact that we have raised as a cluster over $3 million total for the iHeartRadio's Children's Give-A-Thon is pretty incredible. And the greatest part about it is all of that 3 point whatever million you said goes directly to families in need and helps children because it's a nonprofit. So thank you to all of you out there. It was an incredible 2 days once again, and the numbers show it, and it was amazing.
All right, so the news around baseball within the last 24 hours, and the Winter Meetings has had some news, not a ton of it related to the San Diego Padres.
It's had news, around baseball. It's had news,
100%. But unfortunately, not the blockbuster move involving the Padres we were maybe hoping for over the last 2 or 3 days. Now, you mentioned this in your update as well, and I have no issues with it. Best of luck to Robert Suarez. He gets the 3-year, $45 million deal. He made the absolute right decision to opt out. I think it's a win-win. I don't think the Padres wanted to pay him $8+ million next year. He's getting 15. He was owed $8 million for the next 2 years. He's getting 15. He made the right decision. I think the Padres made the right decision. If you're already tied up in finances, you're not going to go commit 10+ to a reliever when you already have relievers like Mason Miller and Jeremiah Estrada and David Morgan and Jason Adams. So Robert Suarez gets his money. There was no world, even if the Padres had unlimited resources, Robert Suarez wasn't coming back. I don't see it as a negative, truthfully. I never expected him to return. I think the Padres have other needs with their money, and maybe it works out with Atlanta, maybe not. But 3 years, $45 million for Robert Suarez to the Braves.
It's to me a deal that you can absolutely live with. If you're a Padres fan, you look at that and say, okay, there's nothing, there's no emotion here. There's no, I can't believe Robert Suarez is gone. I don't feel any of that. I don't think Padres fans should feel any of that. Mainly because, they have Mason Miller. And from whatever thing that the Padres organization is saying, take it for a grain of salt because they lie to you all the time. Mason Miller will not become a starter, and he will remain the closer of this team. And because of that, you can let Robert Suarez walk without feeling anything. Like it's one of those transactions that you see today and it pops up on your timeline. And I don't know, for me at least, I looked at it and I went, okay. Like, it's just, okay, that's fine. Cool. Awesome. Good for him. I'm glad he got his money. Unfortunately, he goes to a contender, right? But still, it's not a situation where I feel like Padres fans should get up in arms. Like, I can't believe they let Robert Suarez walk. Like the Mets fans are talking about with Pete Alonso. This is not even close to that.
No, I mean, you can't even compare that. And I completely agree. I'm glad you segued to the Mets. And listen, we have a 4-hour show, so I'm happy to talk about it, even though I don't think there's a world in hell. Can I say hell?
What is going on?
I don't think there's
here?
A world in hell where what is circulated in the rumor mill, again, when it's a quiet 48 hours, it's a quiet 48 hours, and you have to talk about something or you have to come up with something. But just the general concept that the Mets are in flux, which they are, and they didn't have a good 2025, which is true. And maybe there are elements at play in their clubhouse which are problematic. It happens in sports. I'm not going to dispute that possibility. And even if the clubhouse dynamic is off, that doesn't mean they're stupid as an organization. You might think the Mets are a bad organization, I would agree, but Steve Cohen isn't a billionaire because he's an idiot, and their general manager isn't in his job to lose trades. And any idea of Francisco Lindor being traded straight up for Xander Bogaerts is straight out of, I think this is out of a SpongeBob episode. Like, what is this, Stupid Town? Because the Mets might not be a well-run organization, but they're not idiotic. And Francisco Lindor, if he's traded along the way he may be, if there's a trade that makes sense for the Mets, I'm not saying he won't be on the move. He's 32 years of age. But Lindor for Bogaerts would be among the dumbest trades in recent baseball history, in my opinion. It makes absolutely no sense for the New York Mets. It makes a lot of sense for the San Diego Padres potentially, although they're taking on even more money. But I'll entertain it because we have a 4-hour show, but it doesn't make any sense to me from the Mets perspective and what we do in local radio or in local media. Not me and you, but this is what people do. Oh, this would be great for the Padres. Oh, this would be great for the Yankees, but you're not considering the other half of the equation. And the other half of the equation truly makes zero sense.
That has to be the dumbest rumor that I've heard in a while. I don't know where this rumor originated from, but it's got to be the dumbest rumor I've ever heard. At least not ever heard, but it's one of the worst I've heard in a while. Like you said, the Mets might be having a bad offseason, but they're not idiots.
It's a big difference, right?
Let's just go down this path. If for some wacky reason, the Mets, who, I mean, look, they lost Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso this offseason. So you know what? Let's trade one of our most beloved players in Francisco Lindor for, I don't know, a has-been, washed-up, 30-something-year-old shortstop that's completely overpaid in Xander Bogaerts. Huh? Like, say that out loud and then ask yourself, does that honestly make sense? And I don't care who they would attach to Xander. It would never make sense in a million years for that dumb idea, wherever this came from, to actually happen. Like, you got to be kidding me. And whoever put that out there, like, that's really bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, it's so sloppy. I mean, there's so many things. I could punch so many holes in it. Like,
oh, gosh.
Just because the Mets are at a crossroads doesn't mean they're willing to completely throw caution to the wind. And just because the Bogaerts contract is really bad doesn't mean the Padres can get out from underneath it. Like, the deal was signed. It was signed in ink, and they have to live with the consequences. And guess what? Kevin Acee told us in the middle of last year. The Padres had already entertained how to get out of the Bogaerts deal at some point in the future. An 11-year deal in year 3, they had already had internal communication about what can we do to shed some of the salary or payroll moving forward. The Xander Bogaerts deal is awful. Now, the Lindor deal is not going to age incredibly well either. He's signed for forever.
But
and he's
Lindor's
32.
twice the player Xander will ever be. For
Lindor has hit 30 plus home runs for 3 straight years at Citi Field.
Yeah,
he is a brilliant.
Guy,
he is a brilliant player. Where Bogarts, you could argue, may have been that player at some point 5 to 7 years ago.
He's never been close to Lindor. Sorry, he's never been close to Lindor.
I mean, he's had to listen. You might be right. He had some years. He had back-to-back years in Boston. He was very good, but it's been a while. And Lindor was very good last year, and Bogarts hasn't been good ever in a Padres uniform. So I don't understand it. Truthfully, to your point, no, I'm not saying Francisco Lindor can't be traded, and I'm not saying at some point Xander Bogarts couldn't be moved in some type of deal. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying this: they have no trade clauses, and the players don't equate in value. And just because the Mets are having a bad offseason doesn't mean they're going to make stupid. You don't chase a bad offseason with another bad decision if you're the New York Mets. So I think it's coming out of a place of people are looking for something to talk about, and there's some frustrated fan bases. Padres are included, Mets are included, and it's like let's create something to talk about, even if there's a world in which it doesn't exist.
Yeah, this is what happens when things are slow. It turns into, this is what I heard. Like, oh, so you're really going to go out there and say, hey, this is what I heard? Like, that's lazy. It's irresponsible. And by the way, to come out with this is what I heard, and it turned into Francisco Lindor for Xander Bogarts. Huh? It is really, really, really dumb when you actually think about that move. I'm sorry. It just is.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it came from, but I see it on my timeline. I'm like, why are Padres fans talking about Lindor? Makes no sense.
And to that point, and I know the timelines didn't match up in terms of Lindor to the Mets and Bogarts to the Padres in the same year. But like, here's what I'm sorry about from a Padres perspective. They didn't sign Francisco Lindor. That's what's the frustrating part of it. I know the timelines don't match. I know Lindor's been in New York 4 or 5 years and Bogarts has been here 3. But I'm saying, like, if you want to, like, you got to look at it through a realistic lens, which is the Padres signed a deal that is going to be very hard to get out from underneath.
Right.
And we're going to come up with all these crazy ideas about, well, guess what? Yeah, I know it's the worst deal in Padres history, one of the worst 5 deals in baseball history, but guess what? We could turn it into Francisco Lindor. You think the Mets don't realize that the Bogarts contract is that bad? Of course they do. And just because they have a blank check doesn't mean they're going to use it for Xander Bogarts. Again, Steve Cohen didn't get rich being an idiot, right? You could argue some of the merits of some of these moves, whether it worked out or not in 2025, but you might not think they're a well-run organization, which is fair, but that doesn't mean they're going to go make a ridiculous move involving Francisco Lindor, in my opinion.
Now, and I don't know exactly what Lindor's contract is. Do you have that in front of you?
340, 11 for 340.
Okay. Do you know what year he's in?
Yeah, 10 for 341, which is 34.1 a year. And he is signed through 2031. So he's got 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. He's got 6 years left on a 10-year deal.
Okay. Here's how I would actually buy it. Is if Francisco Lindor sucked. Like, if you're looking at trading a bad contract for a bad contract to take these players that are not performing in their cities and have been very underwhelming, for the money that they've been given, and you think that, both organizations think that fresh starts are needed for these players, then I could buy it. Francisco Lindor the last 5 years, John, has had a WAR above 5 every single year. Like, it doesn't make. He's been an all-star multiple times. He's been in the MVP conversation multiple times. When he was with Cleveland, when they went to the World Series, he had like a 7-something WAR. He is, I think, one of the better players in baseball, and you could argue one of the better shortstops in baseball. So that's how this thing would only make sense, is if both players were not good with their respective clubs and both teams wanted to kind of, switch it up and exchange bad contract for bad contract, hoping that the player that they get in return, change the scenery might help that player. But that's not the case here. The Padres have a player that's not good in Xander Bogarts. The Mets have a player that is a top 10 MVP candidate every single year for them. Yes, they play the same position. But because the Mets have a Francisco Lindor who is really good, why on earth would they want to trade him away for a player that sucks?
Well, again, you can say it when you have the cover of the Pale in Comparison article. Big Padres are working on something big. This would be big. All right, we've got a great show lined up for you. Tons to get into, including San Diego State basketball. More on the Padres on the other side. San Diego State women's basketball earned a huge win yesterday in Manhattan, Kansas against Kansas State. Stacey Terry Hudson will join us at 2:30. Miles Bird at 3:30. Chris Hodge at 4:30. Stay with us on John and Jim. All right, Stacey Terry Hudson will join us coming up at 2:30. Aztecs women's basketball head coach. They went to Kansas State yesterday. You know what state Kansas State is in, Jim?
Wait, say that again?
Do you know what state Kansas State is in?
I don't know, John. Where is it? Texas?
It's in Kansas.
Oh.
Do you know the city? This is a serious question. Do you know the city that Kansas State is located in? Not that you should, but it's got like a name to it.
Did you just say it?
Did
Kansas.
I? Kansas?
Yeah.
Kansas?
Oh, where'd Jim go? Jim just left
Oh, no.
YouTube.
Sorry.
The city is Manhattan, the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that I didn't know.
Have you heard that, though?
No, I haven't.
You have not heard that? Okay. Well, anyway, San Diego State yesterday played at Kansas State. They won at Kansas State. And Stacey Terry Hudson, remember, she took the Aztecs to the NCAA tournament last year. She'll join us coming up. And Miles Bird will join us coming up at 3:30. We got a couple of minutes here. Let's continue talking about these winter meetings that have come and gone. But would you agree? We kind of ended that segment by saying, listen, Kevin, through his reporting, which is sourced and dialed in, gave us the premise or the framework of a big deal could be in the works for the Padres, either at the meetings or this offseason, right? Mm-hmm. A deal that could make the Juan Soto deal, it could be bigger than that. The Juan Soto deal would pale in comparison. Once you have that knowledge, can't you then start throwing out big trade ideas?
I mean,
like
you can.
Lindor.
Well, that stupid rumor, wherever it started, like it doesn't address any of the Padres' needs.
Well, that's another good point.
So, like, hey, he's
a good player.
He's a great player.
Yeah,
but it doesn't address the fact that their rotation needs a lot of help. And if you're just trying to swap Xander's contract and get his contract out, and then attaching someone else with Xander potentially to get Francisco Lindor, what problem have you addressed? I mean, you've upgraded for sure at your shortstop position. Doubt. Like from going from Xander Bogaerts to Francisco Lindor is
it's a sizable upgrade.
Yeah, you think it's pretty big.
You're not solving any payroll. You're not giving yourself more flexibility.
No, you're just swapping contracts.
Taking same amount of money, maybe, I don't know, more or less, whatever.
Probably more.
The AAV is more.
Yeah. The AAV is more because Xander's at 26.
And this deal's 34 or something.
34, 35.
Yeah. So you're not solving anything.
The Mets aren't stupid. The rumor's stupid. I think when Kevin writes, hey, watch big trade, something coming, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. These things get out of hand, and now the expectation from Padres fans have mushroom clouded into Francisco Lindor. It's like, what are we talking about?
Right. Now it's like if you don't land, if you don't land, and this is a small example, like someone put in the chat, like Mackenzie Gore. It's almost more like if you don't land like someone of the caliber of Lindor or better, like then you haven't met the requirement of what Kevin wrote earlier this week.
Right. So now I'm kind of waiting, and I think Padres fans are just waiting to find out, hey, what's Preller going to do? Is Preller still planning something big? Did he plan something big and did it fall through? Did these sources kind of, put the hay before the horse, or whatever the saying is, the hay before the barn, or
cart before the horse?
Cart before the horse. Yeah. Did they put the cart before the horse? The hay before the horse. I don't know. They put the cart before the horse.
Horses eat hay.
I know they do. So they would eat it.
Yeah.
My analogy was mixed up, but I was on the right path at least.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
It really wasn't. I don't know. Again, I'm not sitting here holding my breath waiting for the big deal. You know what I'm holding my breath for? For them to address needs. I don't care if it's a big deal. If they go get this year's Nick Pivetta and it strengthens their rotation, I'm comfortable with it. Like that's the work that AJ Preller needs to do. He doesn't need to match the Dodgers or the Mets. He needs to go address needs to the best of his ability. He doesn't need to go land a star or win an offseason. He needs to address needs. That's what he's tasked with.
Did you feel like with this reporting and from Kevin, and AJ Cassavell talking about it on MLB Network, do you feel like AJ might have this itch to do something reckless this offseason?
I really don't. I think AJ, what's reckless? The Padres not coming to terms with AJ Preller if they want him long term.
That's pretty stupid too.
So no, I don't think AJ needs to do anything reckless. I think the ball is in his court in a number of different facets that we'll get into over the course of today's show. All right, Stacey Terry Hudson on the other side. San Diego State women winning in Manhattan, Kansas over Kansas State yesterday. Miles Bird at 3:30. We've got giveaways for you today. Chris Hodge with free picks at 4:30. It's Sean and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with Major League Baseball. The hot stove is still lit. Robert Suarez signing a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves today. Last night, San Diego State beat Lamar 89-71. Miles Bird led the way with 19 points. He'll join us today at 3:30. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show, 6 to 7 p.m. with John Rich, and Coach Lewis right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Stacey Terry Hudson will join us momentarily as I am texting the sports information contact at SDSU our number. Can I just give the main number, Brent? What's the other number? I don't even know. What is our number?
It's right in front of you. Just give them, just give them the main number.
I'm giving it. I'm. You know what? Can I go behind the curtains again in radio?
Sure.
Like, do we really need a quote unquote hotline number? Because there's a number for Brent is shaking his head. Absolutely. But listen, I've worked on both sides of the glass here. If we just had a person call, what are the odds that they're calling at the same time like 7 other people are calling?
Well, because here's why, John.
Okay, tell me why.
So when you see the hotline number ring, you know you got to pick that up like right away.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask somebody to call on the regular line, what if the lines are full? Then that person can't get through. So this line, the hotline number, and then our regular number, hotline number, you're not going to have listeners call in or that line ever be busy unless someone's calling at the same time. But that's not going to happen because you've booked everything out.
That was a really good insight from you.
You didn't listen to a single thing I said.
Well, no, because I was watching Brent because he just picked up the phone. But
yeah, I know.
How did you know?
Because I'm watching you. You're looking at Brent.
I'm looking at Brent. That's exactly right. Anyway, I don't even know what you said because I wasn't
exactly.
Listening.
I know because I saw you and you weren't paying attention. I know when you don't pay attention to me.
Hold on.
Like right now.
No, well, that's because I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
I know.
Okay. All right. Good talk. Miles Bird last night, speaking of San Diego State basketball in general, 19 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 4 assists. He looked like Miles Bird. He's going to join us coming up at 3:30. He joined me post game as well. Now, I don't think you watched this game. I'm not sure if you have KUSI where you are. My guess is you probably don't have KUSI. But he had, I forgot to ask him about this post game, Brent. I didn't ask him about his like Dr. J reverse attempt. Now he was fouled and the ball like popped in and out. It would have been Sports Center's like 4th best play last night. This was the most acrobatic like layup attempt on the baseline you've ever seen from Miles Bird. So I need to ask him about that when he joins us coming up at 3:30. Don't let me forget to ask him about that layup attempt. But he was really good. San Diego State in general won by 18. Yeah, I don't know, did you say Lamar hit 14 threes in the game?
What did I say? What did I say on yesterday's show, John?
I don't know. What'd you say?
I said you got to watch out for Lamar's 3-point attack because guess what? If they get hot from 3, that could be a problem for the Aztecs.
Well, yeah, that's true. And that's called basketball. Or like in baseball, really? It's like saying, well, if the Marlins hit 4 home runs, we could be in trouble. Yeah, that's called baseball.
I also said Lamar was a good 3-point shooting team.
And spoiler alert, they weren't. They were 200th in the nation.
Well, guess what, John? Last night, they were pretty good.
They were really good. They had 14 threes, including 10 in the first half. And San Diego State, against a team allowing 62 points per game, scored 89 points. So encouraging. And I think a building block heading into conference play next week. Basically,
when it boils down to it, the summary of last night's game, defense still has to have some things to work on. But hey, if you're going to score, 89 points a game, this Aztec team, it's pretty good.
Correct. Hold on.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Good summary. Very Thanks. Good summary. Very good summary.
What a segment this is.
This is a really good segment.
This is what we call train wreck radio, everybody.
Whatever happened to train wreck radio?
I don't know.
I mean, it just kind of went the way of the dodo bird.
Well,
do you know what that means?
Like disappeared?
Maybe. Did a dodo bird at one point exist? Is the question. And what happened to it?
Well, the question is, what's our giveaways? And then if our giveaways are like lights out giveaways, then we probably do Trainwreck Radio. But if we don't have lights out giveaways, then we don't do Trainwreck Radio.
We've had some giveaways. Your point is valid. But
like if we have giveaways to some random thing that we're like, huh? Maybe. If we have a really good giveaway, we'll do Trainwreck Radio.
Right. We are giving away some goals tickets, by the way.
Yeah, we don't even need to give away anything right now because this is just pure Trainwreck.
We are giving away goals tickets today. And
so then we probably should do Trainwreck Radio when you think?
No, because we're going to do it after our conversation with the goals. So right after that conversation, we'll give them away. Yeah, you like that?
Wow.
This isn't my first day in radio. And it's not my first rodeo. All right, we have Stacey Terry Hudson. She has been all over this country because her Aztecs women's basketball team was in Manhattan, Kansas yesterday, and they defeated Kansas State. The Aztecs are 6-3 and coming off a really big win yesterday at Kansas State in front of like 6,000 screaming kids in the building, and a big win for the Aztecs, who last year were in the NCAA tournament. So, Coach, appreciate you coming on. What were the keys yesterday? What a statement win against a Big 12 opponent on the road. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was fun. It was a great environment, and to win on the road always is a good thing. You know, I thought our kids just did a really good job locking into the scout and executing. You know, defense was the key, and we did a great job defensively, holding them, you know, under 60 on their home floor was a big feat for us. So we're excited about the win.
I feel like for your program, Coach, you could just keep, you know, building block after building block, year after year after year. And as it says right here in our notes, is, you know, this is your first, you know, win on the road versus a power conference team since 2018. First win versus the Big 12 since 2010. Just for your program, you know, not for this year, but just, you know, looking forward, stacking up wins like this and stacking up years like last year. Like, how important is that for the future of this program?
Oh, I think it's huge. You know, we're just trying to get back to the winning tradition that San Diego State women's basketball has had. And, you know, really proud of our girls. This is a unique situation because we're in a bit of a rebuilding year with a lot of talent, but it's just young talent, if you know what I mean. So we're trying to get, you know, the transfers and the young talent all, you know, playing at the same level and getting ready for conference. So this was a huge win for us, for all the things that you just mentioned, resume building, et cetera, but also for us just to know we can do it. We're capable of doing it. And I thought our girls played their heart outs and deserved to win. You know, and it's not easy getting to Manhattan, Kansas. You know, we took 2 flights and it was an 11 o'clock game, which made it 9 o'clock for us. Fortunately for us, we practice in the morning, so they were awake. But a lot of things could have gone wrong, and there was some adversity. And I thought our kids just, you know, didn't let that get to them, and they played hard, and we were able to defend at a high level.
I was there once 20 years ago for a men's basketball game, and you talk about the middle of nowhere, right? Like just like on the plains. I just remember being flat and cold as heck. I think it was in like January or February. Kansas State, but again, it's still the Octagon of Doom. Is women's basketball played in the same building as men's? It is, right? With all the purple seats?
It is, yeah.
So,
it's a lot of purple there.
Yeah, and traditionally a very challenging place, obviously, to win. I don't know if I've ever asked you this before. Stacey Terry Hudson with us right now on John and Jim off this win over Kansas State. You've got some great players on your roster from San Diego County. What's the caliber of play like for prep players, for high school players coming out of San Diego? What is this county like in terms of, you know, developing young players to play at this level like at San Diego State?
Well, we have some great high school coaches, local high school coaches that have done a phenomenal job here in San Diego. So us to have 2 on our roster and 2 that are sophomores that start for us is really, really big. Both those young ladies, Naomi Panganiban and Bailey Barnhart, both San Diego natives, just doing a great job for us. Both of them were huge yesterday in the win. So it's a little different. Obviously, we're all excited to be Aztecs, but you know, when you're homegrown and you grow up watching the Aztecs play, there's just a little bit more pride, I think. And I'm really lucky to have those 2 girls on our team. They do a great job representing not only their families, but the city.
How has winning the conference championship last year helped with your non-conference schedule this year?
It helped it. You can use that word loosely. It hasn't helped at all because, you know, less people want to play us. Yeah. So we've had a more challenging non-conference. So we're sitting at 6-3, and we played Penn State, UCLA, and Kansas State. So, and a very, very good Santa Clara team. So it was hard to get some games this year, but we figured we would take it as a compliment and use those challenging games just to prepare us for Mountain West play. And I think we got a lot out of this non-conference. We start our start conference play with Fresno at Fresno State on Wednesday. So I think we're going to be prepared. We've had some nice challenges and played against some All-Americans. So I think we'll be ready for non-conference, or for conference rather.
So you're coming off the conference tournament championship, obviously, this past spring, and you were picked to finish second overall in the Mountain West here in 2025-26. Obviously, you've been playing in the non-conference to this point. You mentioned the Fresno State game coming up. What are your expectations for the league once play begins?
It's going to be a different league. A lot of players that you've seen in the Mountain West for quite some years have graduated or moved on. So it's going to be a really competitive year, I think, in the Mountain West. So we're excited just to get out there and see. We have some new head coaches, and then you have the traditional suspects, like UNLV, Colorado State. They're going to always be really, really talented. So Fresno State and Boise State are our first two before we leave for the Christmas break. So that's going to give us a great test, a very good defensive team in Fresno State, and obviously just a all-around great team that can score in the post and shoot it from three in Boise State. So two really good challenges before we take a little break. But it's going to be a fun year in the Mountain West. It's going to be very competitive. There's no cupcakes in our league, similar to the men's side. There's no cupcakes, so we got to come ready to play night in and night out.
By the way, for Aztec fans, if you haven't seen San Diego State's women's basketball team this season, you can grab tickets for as low as $6. And there's also a special holiday deal going on right now where you get to go to 3 of the next 4 home games. You pick 3 of them, and you can do that for $12. I mean, that's an amazing gift idea. That's great pricing, and that's available for you at goaztecs.com. Coach, congratulations. Great starts to the year, coming off that big year last year, the win in Manhattan over Kansas State yesterday. We're looking forward to conference play getting underway, and thanks for joining us for a few minutes today.
Thanks, Coach.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
All right, great stuff from Stacey Terry Hudson at San Diego State, again on the women's side, not just the men's side, having a lot of success this year on the Mesa. All right, we'll turn our attention back to the Padres and the winter meetings. On the other side, Miles Bird will join us at 3:30, and we're here until 6. It's John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We do want to thank all of you, as well as ESET, SeaWorld, Cable Pipe and Leak Detection, and Crowley Car Company for your support of Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. For the past couple of days, we've shared those stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and their families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. It's not too late. You can still make a donation today by texting SPORTS to 34984. That's SPORTS to 34984, or at radyfoundation.org/give-a-thon. That's radyfoundation.org/give-a-thon. We briefly, I don't know how much time we spent on it yesterday. Yesterday was a blur. We did touch on the Sharon Moore situation, that saga playing out at Michigan. There hasn't really been much that has changed, I would say, Jim, today, because we're now awaiting his arraignment in court in the state of Michigan, charges of which have not yet been filed or brought publicly. But you are only arraigned if you are going to be charged. That is what an arraignment is. So I think the speculation that he might have been held because of his mental health state, which is possible, it's very possible. I think it's also going to include charges. I think charges are going to be levied against the former head coach of the University of Michigan. One of the more shocking college sports stories in recent and beyond that memory, truthfully.
Oh, yeah, because of the profile, the school, the timing of it. You know, if this is a story, if you want to look at the story two different ways, right? The first one is now Michigan's looking for, not the first one, but one of, is Michigan is looking now for a new head coach after the hiring process, because right now you're in full like recruiting, transfer portals coming up. Like, this is the time of year for coaches. That's why you see so many coaches leave at this time of the year, before the college football playoff, like Lane Kiffin and so forth, like, because they got to get ready for the next year. And this is the time to do all the prep work, and the prep work's already been done. But you get my point, is like, you got to do all this stuff now to get ready for next season. And Michigan has now fallen so far behind when they're looking for a new head coach. And then when you look at the Sharon Moore side of it, like, again, we don't know all the details.
No, we don't.
But the stuff that has come out so far, it's pretty sad. Like, sad as in, like, not sad I feel bad for Sharon Moore. Sad as in, like, the story is a sad story because of everything that's transpired. And just, I mean, some of the things that are coming out, again, don't know if it's fully true or not, but it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire there. And it's not good for Sharon Moore.
No, and there, to your point, like, there's kind of two parts of the story. There's the actual legal side of it, the human element, the impact of it. And then there's the sports side, because the sports moves on. It's the University of Michigan. They're not waiting. You know what I mean? Like, that's the world they're in. They're in the business of Big Ten football. They won a national championship 2 years ago.
One of the best seasons in college football history.
They're one season removed from being the last national champion. Before Ohio State last year was Michigan, the year before that. So they're in big boy sports, So
but that's such
$20
million.
But it's such a weird dichotomy, because it's like, you've got this very serious legal situation, right? But you also have this program that, guess what? Come next August, they're going to be expected to beat whoever they're playing. Like, I don't know who they open with, but you get the point. Like, Michigan fans are going to be like, it's okay, we lost. We've been dealing with a lot the last 9 months. That's not going to be the general belief. They sell 110,000 tickets to their games. They create millions of dollars of revenue for the university. It goes beyond that with their enrollment and applications and everything, endowments. So it's just a weird dichotomy is what I would say. On one side, there's a football team. On another side, you have everything that this entails. And you're right. It's kind of it's a sad state of affairs that I don't know the entirety of, and will play out probably in the days and weeks and months and maybe beyond that to come. I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by what the charges Sharon Moore could be facing. Like, what are we going to learn tomorrow?
Well, what we do know is, like, the reason why he was fired was because it was found that he had inappropriate relations with a staff member.
Right.
If you go on social media, you probably could find this, who this person is and whatnot. But anyway, like, that is what we do know. And for Sharon Moore to put himself in that situation is completely reckless and irresponsible, and he deserved to get fired, and he deserves, what's coming to him potentially, because man, the fact that, you have a wife and you have 3 kids and you're found to have an inappropriate relation with a staff member, man, I don't know all the other details other than that, because that's what Michigan is saying, and that's why they fired him, because for cause. But to throw away the rest of your, coaching career for this, that's a bad look.
Some of the stuff, I don't know if we touched on this yesterday, Jim, or not. Remind me. The fact that Michigan fired him yesterday afternoon, in the East, but there were people speculating on Sharon Moore and this days ago, right? There's tweets out there. To your point, you can find them. There were people talking about this 10 days ago, 15 days ago.
December 1st, I think, was the first day that the word and rumbling started to occur of Sharon Moore having, inappropriate relations with a staff member.
Well, isn't that so then you ask yourself, well, what did Michigan know and when did they know it? Right? Because that always becomes that side of the story.
Right.
The liability there. And it's just, Didn't
the same thing essentially happen with Michigan State's head coach?
Mel Tucker.
Didn't he get fired for cause for having inappropriate relations with a staff member?
That you may be correct. Yes, I don't remember I don't remember it fully. But it's you're right. That wasn't long ago, right? That was a couple years ago.
It was a couple of years ago. That's not good, everybody. It's not good. And I don't know what's happening in the personal life, but wife, 3 kids, and now your face is plastered all over the news about why you got fired from Michigan, and then you're detained by the police. We don't know the full details of what went into that, but still, this is just a awful look. And Michigan, man, that's brutal.
And I will say, just I guess my last point on this is I do think it is fair to consider what is the mental state of the involved parties right now, because you know what I mean. None of this is good. But nobody's arguing you know what I mean. Nobody's taking the other side of this. Nobody's taking the other side of this.
Good for him.
But no. I do think with, you said, it's plastered everywhere, whether it's socially or digitally or in media. You do have to concern yourself with the mental state of those that are involved here, because that's got to be really, really concerning potentially.
He's not that old, right? He's in his
he's not
30s?
Old at all. He's not old at all. I'm not sure if he's in his 30s or 40s. He may be in his 30s.
Because I thought about
he's 39.
Okay, 39. That's not old at all.
No, not at all.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm he is never, ever going to coach ever again.
And now, would you say that you know how the business of sports works? I mean, people do get second chances. Would you have said that without the charges? Would you have said that if he was terminated with cause? Or did it require him also having to be arraigned for him to potentially never coach again? See what I'm saying? Because there's been other examples of.
There has been.
Right.
You're right. I do. I agree with that. I just think that the charges,
the entirety of it. Yeah.
I think the entirety of it.
Makes it even worse.
Yeah. And the fact that he did all this, not throwing away, but he was paid very handsomely at Michigan.
Of course.
$25 to $30 million. Bye-bye. All because you wanted to do this with a staff member. Man, you got to think before you act, everybody.
All right. In the 3 o'clock hour, again, Miles Bird's going to join the show. In the 4 o'clock hour, Chris Hodge will join the show. We're also talking goals in studio coming up at 4 p.m. They've got a big weekend, and we've got a goals giveaway for you. We've got a ticket giveaway coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. So there's a lot to discuss. We're going to be here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2, John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with the Aztecs last night, picking up a win over Lamar, 89-71. Miles Bird led the way with 19 points. He'll join us at 3:30. Baseball hot stove. Robert Suarez today signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show from 6 to 7 p.m. with John Rich and Coach Lewis right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites. 7 gets you the fancy stuff. And 9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Taxes extra.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. Here until 6 p.m. Sean Lewis Show. Coming up at 6, Miles Bird, Aztec standout guard. Jim just told you about his night last night in that win. He'll join us at 3:30. Matt Savant, President, Business Operations for the San Diego Gulls, in studio coming up at 4 p.m. And then Chris Hodge. We need to thank Chris Hodge, by the way, Jim, for his donation to the Rady Children's Give-a-thon. And he will join us at 4:30.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a very generous donation from Chris. And again, you know, everybody that donated yesterday, whether it was $5, $10, $20, $100, all your donations mattered, and they all are going to a good cause. So once again, we thank you.
All right. So what did we learn over the course of the week about the Padres at the winter meetings? Like, do we have any better feel for what their goals are this offseason? We heard we saw quotes from John Seidler, who said the expectations for the budget are similar. They expect to be in the same ballpark, I'm paraphrasing, as they've been the last 5 or 6 years. We know that Preller, right? We heard as recently as last night that Preller had 2 flights booked back to San Diego.
Yeah,
one of which was last night. The other was today. No matter which one he took, there have been no reported moves involving the Padres. And we have seen free agent activity over the last 48 hours. Robert Suarez, Pete Alonso around baseball, but the Padres remain quiet. And now the question becomes when does the activity pick up from a Padres perspective? Are we waiting until spring training, like the last couple of off seasons, where it all happens in February and they're, dumpster diving, so to speak, or looking for those bargains? Or is there more than just smoke here when it comes to some of the speculation and reporting?
I'll believe it when I see it.
So you're under the belief, and I am too, that they're just going to address needs and fill holes as they present themselves over the course of the next 3 months.
Yeah, this guy to a 1-year deal, this guy to a 2-year deal, this guy to a 2-year deal, maybe an option. Preller might do like a 1-and-1 type of thing, maybe a trade here. Yeah. I don't see a complete reshaping of the roster. I don't. Maybe that's something that he is trying to accomplish. But at the same time, actions speak louder than words. And if the words aren't going to meet the action, then why even take the words as gospel here? Why are we sitting here anticipating this big time move when there are so many factors at play here that are going against the Padres to kind of hinder them from making a big time move? The team's up for sale. They don't have enough money. They have to move money. They don't have enough prospects. They don't have enough movable assets. Tell me how this all works out. I would love to be proven wrong, and I would love to see this thing play out. And obviously we are, but at the same time, nothing moves me this week. It really didn't. Nothing that was written by Kevin or said by AJ Cassavell or any dumb rumor that was put online. Nothing moved me. I'm sorry. It just didn't.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I like the way you put it, which is they have so many hurdles to pull off a trade of the magnitude that is being discussed or reported on. They're not an organization that's got a lot of financial flexibility. They're not a team that doesn't have a core that's locked up long-term. You got players with no trade clauses everywhere. Almost all of your money, if you think about it, the $200 million they've committed for next year, how much of that, what percent of that is in Bogarts, Machado, Tatis, Darvish, Musgrove? A massive percent of it is in 5 guys. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but you add up what Musgrove is owed and Darvish is owed and Bogarts and Tatis and Machado and Merrill, of course. It's not as much as the other players we're talking about. Those 6 players, Jim, what is that, 60%, 70% of the payroll for 2026? That leaves you 30% of your payroll for the other 20 players that will be on your opening day roster.
So, again, not great at math, but...
Yeah, what's the number? Give me the rough math.
Musgrove, Darvish, Manny, Xander, Tatis. Does this sound right?
Tell me.
129 million between those 5 guys.
How did you do that math? In your head?
20 million a year for Joe.
Yep.
I think you is at 18.
Yeah, okay. 38.
This is all just like rough estimate.
Okay, 38.
Got 26 for Xander.
64.
I got around 30 for Tatis.
94.
35 for Manny.
35, 129, right?
That's what I said. Yeah, 129.
Look at you. Did you mention Merrill?
No, because
he's locked up, whatever the AAV is.
What is it?
I don't know. What is the AAV on that? It's not a ton. 10 to 13 or something. Whatever. Let's just speculate on it and add 10 onto it. Whatever. 139, right?
Yeah, about 140 million with 6 players, and one of them's not even playing next year.
And the payroll will be what next year? 200?
Right. Well, right now it's at 189.
Okay, so let's put it over 200. You want put it 210, put it at 220.
Yeah.
So 140 of 210. That's guess what? That's 66.7%.
Oh, and then add Pavetta's 20 million as well.
All right, so you got 160 tied up in 7 players. Some of that is good. Some of that you need. You want Pavetta. You want Fernando Tatis Jr., in my opinion. You want Manny Machado. So you want Jackson Merrill. So 160 and 7 players means you've got 50 mil for the other 19. That's an average of $2 million a player. And you got guys that are arbitration eligible. And you got guys making more than that and less than that. But then you wonder why Luis Campusano's on a 1-year deal. And you wonder why Ty Adcock is, right? Like, because how are you going to fit 26 players into $210 million when 7 of them make 160?
Exactly.
So where's the big trade? That's where, okay, Cronenworth gives you flexibility. We've talked about that. You want to add Jake in there, by the way? Then 8 players are 180 plus. 8 players are 180 plus out of 210. You're now 80% of the budget, 85% of the budget in 8 of 26. Which I don't know if that's abnormal, truthfully. I think there's other teams that have big contracts that take up a bulk of their payroll. But that's a big, big bulk when you have 18 players that are basically making major league minimums on the other side of that.
Yeah, and a couple of them are either hurt or don't pull their weight.
Yeah.
Which really hurts you. Because when you give out all that, 20 here, 30 here, 25, 18, like you're going to need those players to perform. And then Preller's going to have to go out and dumpster dive for guys for, $6 million a year, $4 million a year, $2 million a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room. So yeah, if you trade away Jake Cronenworth, you obviously move some money, but then you need to fill Jake's spot. Mm-hmm. And we said it last week or maybe earlier this week. We have spent so much time on the rotation that we have forgotten that the main reason why the Padres have choked their way out of the postseason the last 2 years was their inability on offense to put runs across the plate. Like that has been the number one issue at the end of the year and really throughout the entirety of last season was the offense. And yet we're sitting here every day talking about how they have major holes in the rotation. It's like what we're seemingly forgetting that their offense has been the thing that's let this team down the most the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like you're looking one way and you're like, hold on, why aren't we looking over here? Like our eyes off the ball.
Like the house is still on fire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I mean, I think it speaks to kind of the spot that they're in, which is like there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work. Now, I don't think, again, nobody is saying, and I think sometimes people paint us with this brush like, oh, you're saying like they're going to have this awful year. They're only going to win 65 games. No, we're not saying that. But because what we're saying is to reach the expectation, which is like make a deep postseason run. That's what Padres fans have been waiting for, right? The payroll is significant. to make that deep postseason run, to go further than you've gone this decade, that's where it gets hard. I'm not saying it's going to be hard to win 80 games. And I'm not even saying right now it's going to be hard to reach the postseason. I mean, it's going to be challenging. I'm not saying it's impossible, nowhere near it. What I'm saying is to get to the promised land or make that deep run, yeah, it feels really challenging from these seats right now.
Do you think if you were to give Preller some truth serum, do you think he would want to shake up this roster?
Man, that is such a good question. Like if he had all the flexibility in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he would. Of course he would. Because he's a tinkerer by trade. You know what I mean? Yes, he signed these deals, but I think it's like, if I knew then what I know now, what would I do differently? If I knew then what I know now, of course he would make changes to it.
And I'm not talking the easy changes like Xander Bogaerts. I'm talking like really shaking things up and bye-bye Manny Machado. Like, hey, we've only gone so far with him. Yeah, he's helped us get to this point, but at the same time, we've only gone so far. And this money and this contract is going to look really bad. Now, Xander's looks bad as well, but Manny's is worse. Now, Manny does give you more production than Xander, so you could level that out there. But I'm just saying from like a standpoint of like, hey, we need to shake things up. Like this ain't working, right? Like, what do we do here? Do you think at all that Preller has at all thought about like, what if we moved Manny like soon, not later, but like soon?
Well, it's interesting you say that because of course he has. I mean, he's thought of everything. And when he puts his head on the pillow, he is thinking about the roster, you know? So of course he has.
But like a legitimate thought of like,
well, but
let's talk this out.
But is there a legitimate thought? I mean, even to go down that path, is it even entertainable?
Probably not, because he's on no trade clause.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, why even? So I can't even go there. You know, now I will go where you just went, which is he signed through 2033, and it's going to be an abject failure in the 2030s. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, of course. Now we're not in the 2030s, but they're approaching. I can't worry about 2030s right now. We've got enough to worry about. But he signed for 30, 31, 32, 33. Think about that. He's already how old? 33?
33, yeah.
Yeah, so that none of this is going to look good. And you can't get out from underneath it. Now, he's still going to provide a lot of production, hopefully. He can still have a massive year. He could have a massive year if everything clicks. Whether that's 26, 27, whatever. He can have some massive years, hopefully, for the Padres. But yeah, yes, I think your point is valid, which is like, if you could do it over again, what would you change? I go back to what I say earlier this week. It's the sunk cost fallacy. Are they chasing something that shouldn't be chased? Because they're so pot committed. It's like, well, no, this is our year. Really? You've had 7 years with Manny. He's not getting younger. You're going to be better now than you were then? You had Juan Soto. You no longer do. You know, it's just like, you're going to get better, really? Without Michael King and without Yu Darvish in his prime? Like, didn't you have your chance? It just feels to me like it's getting harder. Not to win 80 games or to get to a postseason. It just feels to me in general to reach that promised land, it's getting harder for the Padres.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we'll discuss more on the other side. Plus, will Phillip Rivers start this Sunday in the NFL? And Miles Bird will join us coming up at 3:30, coming off a 19-point game in that win over Lamar last night at Viejas Arena. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim. Miles Bird will join us. The Aztec standout junior guard will join us coming up at 3:30 in about 10 minutes. We'll talk some San Diego Gulls home this weekend. They've got some giveaways for you. We're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets to see the Gulls. We'll do that coming up at 4 p.m. And then we've got our friend Chris Hodge taking Vegas. He's got some free NFL and college picks to make for us. We also have, Brent is telling me, Jim, that we have Aztec basketball tickets to give away.
Oh,
So
must be nice.
do we get the band back together and do Trainwreck Radio?
I think
Brent's
we might
saying-
have to.
Brent's saying no.
Brent says no. Okay, fine. I guess
All right.
not.
Maybe next.
Too much work.
Maybe 2026.
Yeah, 2026. I like it.
2026.
How about 2027 too? We can just like push
2026.
it off another year.
2026. We get back up on the saddle. What'd you say earlier? We'll put the hay before the horse.
We'll
In
put the hay in front of the
2026.
horse.
But we do have Aztec tickets. Is this for Wednesday night against Air Force? 2 tickets? Okay. Miles is joining us. How about this? After we talk to Miles Bird, we're giving away 2 tickets to Wednesday's game against Air Force. How does that sound for everyone?
Must be nice.
Sounds good, right? Adam Schefter at this hour says this on social media. How do you spell his last name? SCH. I never know if it's SCH like me. He quote tweeted a tweet and says, sounds like Phillip Rivers is tracking to start Sunday at Seattle. So signed off the scrap heap at 44 years old by the Colts this week and tracking to start Sunday at Seattle. That kind of becomes like must tune in as the Colts will be at the Seahawks and Phillip Rivers at 44 will make another start in the NFL.
It's just so perfect. Like 44-year-old Phillip was coaching a high school football team a couple weeks ago. And now he's starting for the Colts against one of the best teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's either gonna be amazing or it's gonna be a train wreck.
That's why we watch.
Exactly. I hope he goes out there and he throws for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns because that would be an incredible story. Then I hope next week against the 49ers, he throws for 60 yards and 4 interceptions. But I hope this week he goes out there and just balls out.
Are they back-to-back road or is San Francisco at Indy?
San Francisco is, I believe, at Indy.
Okay. But yeah, it's not an easy schedule off the top there. Seattle, San Francisco.
The Colts go.
Oh, it's all hard, right?
Seattle. Hold on, let me pull this up here.
Yep.
It's hold on. So it's, dude, this is crazy. On the road at Seattle, at home against the Niners, at home against the Jags, finish up on the road against the Texans. Woof.
And what do they need to do, do we think, to get into the postseason? Do we say 3-1?
I mean, Jacksonville's 9-4 and Houston's 8-5. They're ahead of Indy because I think the head to head.
Right.
So because of the head to head, you need to beat both of those teams. So that's 2-0.
Yep.
And then probably beat either the Niners or the Seahawks, right? You can't get in.
That's
you
a
can't
high
get
bar.
In at 2-2. I don't think you can get in at 2-2.
So that's a pretty. I mean, that would be like kind of storybook if it happened. That's a bit of a movie. Hey, we signed the 44-year-old ex-quarterback, and in his last hurrah, he led the team to the postseason. That alone is the story. Like, there's the script. That's the premise.
That would be crazy,
right?
And then he goes to like the Chargers in the AFC title game.
That would be incredible. Just the Chargers in the postseason would be incredible.
Just facing the Chargers.
Yeah.
Now they would only face them probably in the championship round because they're both going to make it as wild cards if they were both to make it.
Right. Good point. Yeah, good point.
So you're not facing them.
Yeah, because 2 play 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. Yeah,
until an AFC title game.
That's a good point. That's not happening.
It's not happening.
That's definitely not happening.
Denver, New England. If Buffalo's, Buffalo, like, not happening.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But listen, the fact that he is returning to the NFL, who even would have envisioned this as a possibility ever? Was that on the bingo card for 2025?
No. Dude was a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. I need to know, has this Hall of Fame, timeline been reset?
It sounds like it will be. That was at least some of the speculation. Maybe they make an exception, but why would they make an exception? He's playing in the NFL. What's the exception? You're going to make an exception for Phillip Rivers? He's playing in the NFL. So why would there be an exception? So listen, he just obviously loves the game. You kind of appreciate that. It's a sport that's so predicated on like the business of it and the dollars and cents. We get so carried away with this stuff. Guy just loves the sport. You know what I mean? Like that's what it basically boils down to. So why not? I mean, it's everyone's dream. It's like getting in the ring that final time, getting on the field that final time, doing it for the love of a game. Everyone's dream.
Right.
And he's getting a chance to live that out as a 44-year-old, which is pretty incredible, honestly, for Phillip Rivers. All right, Miles Bird on the other side will join us live. And after our conversation, we will give away a pair of tickets to see the Aztecs back at Viejas Arena next Wednesday night against the Air Force Academy, the final run-through for the Aztecs in the Mountain West beginning Wednesday night at Viejas. We'll give away 2 tickets after our conversation with San Diego State junior guard Miles Bird. Will join us next on John and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with the Aztecs. Last night, they beat Lamar 89-71. Miles Byrd led the way with 19 points. Baseball hot stove, Robert Suarez today signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show at 6 p.m. with John Rich and Coach Lewis. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Luxbox Cravings gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
All right, Jim just mentioned it. Miles Byrd last night in a win over Lamar had a huge game, 19 points, a couple of blocks and steals, 4 assists. And again, most importantly, another San Diego State win. And he's back with us right now on John and Jim on the home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Now, I was fortunate enough to catch up with Miles post-game last night, but Miles, appreciate you doing it again this afternoon. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys having me again.
So we touched on this briefly, but for our listeners that missed last night but are joining us right now, for you, what has the past week been like? Because you were under the weather a week ago, and then you had to sit on that for a week, and then you returned to form in the manner in which you did last night. So what was the last week like for you as you got ready for last night?
I think just really good practices. Obviously wasn't feeling the best in the Utah Valley game. And I think I just had the week to kind of sit on that performance, sit on how I play. I mean, we won the game, which is the most important thing, but from a personal standpoint, just coming in, practicing hard every single day, stacking days. And, I think that's what led to a positive performance today or yesterday.
You guys getting back on track here with a win over Utah Valley and then a win last night against Lamar, putting up some big numbers, 77 points against Utah Valley, 89 points against Lamar. It feels like your guys' offense here might be clicking, especially with the emergence of BJ Davis coming off the bench to providing a spark for you guys. How confident are you guys offensively right now that you guys can put up some big numbers?
Yeah, I think it just mirrors, our work ethic. I think there's everybody on the team gets extra work in every single day. And, I think with that comes confidence and, the way that we're playing right now offensively, just a lot of space and freedom within the offense. You got a lot of confident playmakers out there able to, put their best display forward.
Miles Byrd with us right now on John and Jim. There's been so much chatter this entire offseason into the season about the depth, right? The rotations, the amount of sheer talent on this team. How do you feel about how, the roster continues to come together? We touched on this a little bit last night, but you almost can come at teams in waves where there could be, 3, 4, 5 player substitutions at any moment. How has that benefited you?
Yeah, I think it's just energy-wise. We all have the understanding that, you could go and exert yourself out there and you have a sub ready for you. I mean, how deep we are, how talented we are, I think it's just going to continue to gel more and more the more we play together. I think it's starting to show a little bit more, but, I think as time goes on, it's just going to become more and more complete.
And for people out there that might think, oh, they have so much depth, it should click right away. Like, it takes time, right, to figure out all these roles and lineups and substitution patterns, right?
100%. 100%. That's the game of basketball. When you have so many guys that can play and that do play, it's not like you're out there for 8 minutes trying to get a feel for yourself. You got to kind of find a rhythm pretty quickly and play really, really hard.
You said something to me last night that I thought was a really, good leadership quality. I was just, off the cuff talking about the defense, kind of turning it to the offense. You said the defense not being up to par, so to speak. You said it starts with me. Clarify on that, because you've been considered one of the better defensive guards, not just in the Mountain West, but in the country. Where do you think you can continue to improve on the defensive side?
Yeah, I think just vocally, being more solid. I think, last year, I was able to display it a lot, just how disruptive I can be defensively. And I don't think I was shown it the first few games. And, with that, when you get a deflection, it automatically brings more energy and momentum towards the team. And when you get a steal, fast break dunk, stuff like that. I think that's what I've been lacking this year, which I think ultimately hurts our defense. And, I'm just trying to get back to that side of myself where I'm out there really just trying to disrupt the team's offense. And, you know, you got BJ, who's one of the best on-ball defenders in the country, Goon, who's one of the best shot blockers in the country. You know, I think just being more solid as well would help out.
You mentioned BJ Davis, and we talked about him. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, but, you know, he's been a real big contributor off the bench for you guys. He had 16 more points last night. I think he's one of the leaders in the nation with points off the bench this year. Just how big is it for your team to know that you guys have, you know, pretty much an instant bucket coming off the bench for you when, you know, some of the starters are going to the bench?
Yeah, I mean, whenever BJ comes on the court, I'm super, super confident that it's going to be a great display of basketball. I mean, he's one of the, in my opinion, one of the swaggiest players, you know, that I've played with. But like just BJ, I started every single game with BJ last year, so I understand what he's about. I understand he's a starter, and it's tough sometimes when you go from being a starter every game to, you know, being the sixth or seventh man. And I think BJ buying into that role has allowed him to have the success that he's had. You know, I think mentally he's in a great spot, and he's just providing so much spark off the bench for us as a team, which is just going to make us better.
I mean, we sometimes forget, but like Jaden Ledee came off the bench at San Diego State for a year. Matt Mitchell came off the bench. There were probably Jordan Shackle came off. I mean, some great players, right? Like it's kind of part of the game. And in basketball, of course, you could come off the bench and still play 39 minutes. It's not like baseball or another sport. Miles Bird with us right now on John and Jim. I didn't ask you this last night and I regretted it, but I'm so glad you're on today. Take me through your Dr. J-like layup attempt where you got fouled and you had the English on it. And I know you were mad that it didn't fall because it looked like for a moment it was going to go in. What are you thinking in that moment? Because that was as acrobatic of a play as we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were going to start flying at me at three, so just trying to incorporate a shot fake into it. And I shot fake, was able to get to the baseline, and I didn't realize how big or how far the big was going to step out. So I was really like, when I was driving, I was thinking try to go dunk it. But, you know, he stepped out pretty far when I was in the air, and I realized that. And, I mean, driving right, it helps me out since I'm left-handed to try to get like a reverse left-hand layup. And kind of just got down there and put as much spin on the ball as possible, threw it up there. And from my angle on the ground, it looked like it was going in. So I jumped up to go celebrate, and I realized it fell out.
for those types of, you know, moves and trying to, you know, spin it as much as you can off the back, do you practice those things? Like, how much do you practice, or is that just instinction?
I think just experience playing the game. You know, I mean, growing up, I feel like every kid does like the micing drills and stuff, and as you get older, you maybe develop that drill a little bit more and do more that involves spinning the ball off the backboard a certain way and stuff. And I mean, ultimately, when you're on the court, it's just a field thing, I think.
I feel like that would have been like top 6 on SportsCenter, by the way. I said 4th earlier. It could have been higher. I'm telling you, that thing would have ended up on SportsCenter if it went home last night. Miles Bird with us right now on John and Jim. One more from me, Miles, before you go. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say you were at a food bank event earlier today as part of the community work you're doing through the Mesa Foundation with the San Diego Food Bank. What's it like? You've done so many community events through the Mesa Foundation. What's that experience been like for you?
It's been awesome, honestly. You know, I think just us getting, and not even giving back because we're doing that, but just being in the community, meeting true San Diego people that are from San Diego, born and raised, and, you know, just feeling like a part of this community has been amazing. You know, obviously, we've done a lot of the food bank stuff. We've been partnered with Feeding San Diego as well. So, I mean, just being with them in a time like this definitely is important for us as a team, as a group, and as a program.
All right. You know what I failed to mention when we started the interview is we've got a pair of tickets for San Diego State Air Force. This is coming up Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Miles, I'm going to let you choose a number. That's for a caller. So it's got to be, let's say, between like 1 and 15. You choose a number between 1 and 15, and that caller has 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs on Wednesday night. What's your number?
I like that. We'll just keep it BJ related. We'll go caller number 10.
I like
Perfect.
that. I like that. All right. We'll do that for BJ Davis. Caller number 10 to 877-767-4760. You've got 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs at Viejas Arena on Wednesday night. Miles, congrats, man, on last night. Appreciate you doing it again this afternoon, and we'll see you next week at Viejas, all right?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, great stuff from Miles Bird, again, San Diego State's standout junior guard. Caller 10, you've got 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs take on Air Force at 877-767-4760. We've got some Goals tickets to give away coming up at 4 p.m. Chris Hodge taking Vegas as free picks for us, NFL and college at 4:30, and we're here until 6. This is John and Jim. Actually, I'm breaking early, aren't I? Do you want me to break right now?
No.
Well, I'm just, the calls are coming in, so Brent's got to do two things at once.
Yeah,
I wasn't paying attention.
it's okay.
Okay.
We could.
We'll keep it here for a moment.
We can. We got 2 minutes here. We can do it, John.
I love talking to Miles Bird.
No, it's great.
Yeah,
Miles is turned
he's a really
into
good guy.
probably one of the better interviews on the team. I love talking to Miles. Very insightful. He's a leader of this team, and man, he's come a long way since he's gotten on the Mesa. Man,
he's the last remaining player from the national championship game. Now he redshirted, but he played 4 games that year. That team that team. Who was on that team? Everyone was on that team, right? From Matt Bradley to Jaden Ledee to Lamont Butler to Darion Trammell to Micah Parrish to Adam Seiko to Quilka Rope to Keyshawn Johnson. That was an incredible team. He was on that team. And now he's kind of like, grown his own wings, so to speak, or spread his wings. And he's become a guy that's on the NBA radar. I mean, that's where he is. He was on the NBA radar last year. He could have left. He could have been drafted in the second round last year.
Yeah.
And now the goal is to help this team win and, of course, get to the NBA at some point come this offseason. But he's a terrific young person, and they're going to need him. They're going to need him throughout the course of this year in a big way. And this team's still coming together, obviously. I mean, he kind of made that point. And he made that point last night, and we'll see where and when they reach. What is the ceiling of the team, and when is it reached? Those are the questions that Aztec fans want to know, and it's coming. They have not reached their ceiling nor anywhere near it, and hopefully that's coming at some point in 2026, this group.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, looking forward for this team, as he said there, finding everybody's roles and finding out rotations and what works best for every single player, what combination works best. It takes some time. And that's kind of what they've been going through for the first part of their season. And, I think we're starting to see a little more defined roles like BJ Davis. He's taken on that bench scoring role, right? Like LZ Harrington, he's taken on now the starter role for this team. You have 11, 12 deep, and it's still kind of a process to figure out, all right, this is when I'm going in. I'm going at the 13-minute mark or who these are the guys that I'm going to play with. And it takes time to figure that all out.
Completely agree. All right. So again, coming up at 4 p.m., we've got some Goals tickets to give away. They're home this weekend. And coming up at 4:30, Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas will join the show with some free picks for our listeners here until 6 p.m. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Here until 6 p.m., we've got some guests joining us in the 4 o'clock hour. Matt Savant, president of business operations for the San Diego Gulls. They're home this weekend. We've got tickets to give away. He'll join us coming up at 4, and then Chris Hodge will join us at 4:30 with free picks for our listeners. I don't understand this infatuation with trying to put squares in circles, but it continues to play out with the speculation around the Padres with the winter meetings now over. I don't know if you saw this from Buster Olney on this Baseball Tonight podcast. I don't know who the co-host is, and we don't have the audio right now, but I'm just seeing it. And the co-host led him down a path of, well, Buster Olney said the Mets are well positioned to take a shot at Scooble, right, with Detroit, with their prospect capital. Okay. But then the co-host led him down a path of, well, I'm not fully convinced that Tatis isn't going to be traded this offseason. And then Olney essentially went along with that, was like, yeah, 100%. I can see that too. This comes on the heels within hours. I mean, truly, we're hours away from AJ Preller saying that Tatis, in a Preller way, in a Prellerism, essentially is untouchable. If you want to say that's untouchable, then you can say that, whatever he said the other day. So we continue to hammer home this idea. Maybe Tatis will be moved this offseason to a team like the New York Mets, even though AJ Preller just spoke on it, Jim, and it didn't sound like he was so inclined to move this player right now.
It's because these insiders, quote here, need to meet some type of quote. They need to talk about something. They have their boss saying, "Hey, talk about something." The fact that Fernando's name is continued to brought up, yet he has a no trade clause. The Padres have come out and said they're not trading him, or at least through reports.
Right.
AJ has been asked about it multiple times, and I mean, he's not said definitively we're not trading him, but as close as it gets. I don't understand this infatuation with trying to will the Padres into trading one of their better players because why? I just don't get it.
Yeah, it goes back to a little bit. It's a completely different conversation. The whole Bogarts Lindor. It's like, okay,
that's a stupid conversation.
That's a stupid conversation, but so is this a little bit, because trading Fernando Tatis Jr. may address some needs. Certainly, you can acquire high-level prospect capital and address major league needs, but you have to replace Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, they proved a couple of years ago they were capable of replacing Juan Soto, to the organization's credit, in the time. And they followed up that season with a 93-win year. They came as close as they've been in a while to, I mean, maybe even a World Series, right? They came close before losing to the Dodgers in 5 games. So it's not to say it's impossible to trade a really good player and then be better on the other side of it. Still doesn't make sense. It's another one of those things to me that doesn't make sense. And I'm more willing to say it because I've heard the organization talk on Tatis, and they continue to say that that's not their plan. And why would it be? I mean, he's 27. And again, is he going to get back to where he was as a 23-year-old? Maybe not. So maybe that's why they would consider it at some point. He makes a lot of money. But I say, again, double down on Tatis right now. I'm not talking about 5 years from now, but right now, you need Tatis to be Tatis. That's in the Padres' best interest. Forget about trading for Mets prospects right now.
I love a good rumor. I really do. But some of these rumors this offseason are just flat out ridiculous. And I can't. I'm just like, they do nothing for me because I have a brain. Doesn't work well all the time, but I'm looking at oh, keep an eye on this player. Okay, let me do that. And then nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll believe it when I see it. When I start seeing stuff from Jeff Passan saying and Jeff doesn't really do this because he's not in the rumor game because he's not an idiot like a lot of these other insiders are. I mean, how many things has Bob Nightingale got wrong just this offseason alone?
All of them?
Every single thing?
Right.
It's been a generational Hall of Fame run this offseason for getting things wrong by Bob Nightingale. I mean, just a masterclass at being wrong about everything.
It's good point.
It's just the rumors are the rumors. And don't get me wrong, like I said, love a good rumor, helps out our profession. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't. I'm not gonna like, oh, blockbuster deal that's gonna rival Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr. to the Met. Like, cool, get your hopes up, because the likelihood of all that happening, very slim. And if it does happen, then you're right. You're absolutely right to be on the edge of your seat with every single one of these rumors, because you got nothing else to do. But right now, for me, I'm like, all right, I'll put my notifications on for Passan and Kevin and Dennis, and I'll wait for something to actually come to fruition.
Yeah, and the problem with stuff like this, to your point, is like we get the Lucy pulling the football away during the baseball season. We don't need it also in the offseason. Like, you only need to be kicked when you're down so often. Like, oh, they're going to pass the Dodgers in the NL West. No, they're not. Oh, right. They're not going to have a game 3 like that, a game 5 last year. Yeah, they are. Oh, they're going to make the biggest trade in baseball history. You watch. No, they're not. So you got to be careful with that, is what I would say. And I'm just looking at what the organization has done the last 2 years. And I'm also thinking about them exploring a sale. So now is the time to make the riskiest, splashiest move, in organization history. Hey, let's do this.
Let's trade Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, because let's not give the future owner any say in the most marketable player in Padres history, or one of them. Or let's trade for Lindor. Let's go down that path. Let's take that on contractually.
Well, that would have to come mostly from the Mets, right? Like the Padres.
The Padres would love to have Francisco Lindor.
They would do that deal in a millisecond. But would the Mets be dumb enough to do that deal? And the answer, I think, is no.
I just think that recent history suggests that teams exploring sales are not more aggressive, they're more conservative.
100%. Because the last thing you'd want to do is if the team is up for sale, in the middle of that process, like you said, trade away one of their most profitable and fan favorite players
ever.
What?
Yeah, now he's had an interesting saga. Okay.
He has.
But don't mistake yourself. Fernando Tatis Jr. is marketable. He has sold tickets.
There could also be a world where, just stay with me here. So the Sider Bros got the team up for sale, right?
Yep.
Say they find somebody that's willing to pay the $2.5 billion or whatever the money is that they want, right? Just go 2.5. But the new owner is like, you know what? We want to buy at 2.5, but we want to come in with as little as debt as possible. So we need you to trade we need you to get rid of Tatis. I mean, this probably would never happen, but
why would you buy for 2.5 to then lower the
right? But at the same time, it's like, well, we want to just blow this up, so just do it right now. Get rid of all this debt. We can't come in with all this debt, but we want to pay for 2.5, but just get rid of the debt. That's not happening.
No, that's not happening. All right, we'll continue this conversation. We've got some guests joining us on the other side from the San Diego Gulls, including Matt Savant, the president of business operations. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to Friday night's game here in San Diego, plus a parking pass. We'll do that on the other side. We'll talk about this weekend with the Gulls coming up on the other side. Then Chris Hodge will join us from Taking Vegas with free picks coming up at 4:30 p.m. Hour 3, John and Jim, coming up next on San Diego Sports 760. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer again, and there is no better time than right now to get down to your local Toyota dealer. They do have new vehicles arriving every day, including the most popular cars and trucks and SUVs. So whatever kind of vehicle you are looking for, you can hurry into your Toyota dealer today or make sure to head to Toyota.com. If you're looking for a great deal on a new Toyota, there you can check out all the latest offers and search inventory, because finding the Toyota that's just right for you starts at Toyota.com. Toyota's Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles helps to create a greener planet. Toyota's Beyond Zero lineup supports a greener planet with a wide range of electrified vehicles, including hybrids and plug-in hybrids and fully electric vehicles, or take each day further than you thought possible in a new Camry with its stylish looks that'll make an impression wherever you go. See your Toyota dealer today and discover what makes Camry legendary. There's no better time than now to get your local Toyota dealer. Get your local Toyota dealer today, or Toyota.com. That's Toyota.com. Your Toyota dealers, we make it easy.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with the Aztecs last night beating Lamar 89-71. Miles Bird, who we had on earlier in the show, led the way with 19 points. Baseball hot stove, Robert Suarez today signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show at 6 p.m. with John Rich and Coach Lewis. 1 full hour of San Diego State football talk as they get ready for the New Mexico Bowl against North Texas. You can listen to Sean Lewis Coaches Show right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim, and we just had a giveaway for you last hour. We've got a terrific giveaway coming up here in the next 15 minutes because we've got a 4-pack of tickets to Friday night San Diego Gulls game right here in San Diego. By the way, you can get tickets at sandiegogulls.com. Gulls are playing Henderson this weekend. They've got games Friday and Saturday. Tickets are available at sandiegogulls.com. We've got a 4-pack of tickets and a parking pass for Friday night's game. And we've got Matt Savant, president of business operations for the Gulls, with us in studio. First of all, Matt, it's great to see you, man. Thanks
Great
for
to
swinging
see
by.
you. Thank you for having us back.
All right, so let's just talk about everything going on this weekend. All right, because you guys are it's such a good product. Again, I worked in minor league sports. I always bother my co-host Jim about it because I kind of understand it. I've always loved minor league sports, which is as much about entertainment as it is about sports. It's great because of affordability. It's great for families. It's great for just sports fans and just families alike. So just, I guess, 30,000-foot view. What's going on this weekend with the goals?
So we're very busy this weekend. We have two incredible games with two incredible themes. So I'll start with tomorrow night.
Okay.
We have our first ever karaoke night. And that probably sounds kind of crazy because it is. We're going to build a stage in the upper deck of our arena. And from there, we're going to bring out a karaoke band. And we're going to invite fans from our game to come up and sing during the breaks. And I'm not kidding. Come on up and try your karaoke chops in the big arena on Friday night.
Okay, so you are going to actually, now this isn't during the game. This is during the timeouts of the game. Or are you actually doing it during live play?
Well, when the guys are playing, we will not. But as soon as the whistle blows, we will call somebody up, and it could be you. So come to the game. And then part of our karaoke night, we have a very special guest. We reached out to American Idol's own William Hung. And if you go back to the early 2000s, he sang She Bangs.
Oh, yeah.
She Bangs. William Hung will be here in San Diego tomorrow night, and he will drop the puck for us pregame, and he will sing his infamous song, She Bangs.
Okay, so this is all tomorrow night. This is 7 p.m.
Correct.
Friday night. Again, tickets at SanDiegoGoals.com. And again, Matt Savant, president of business operations for the Goals, with us right now on John and Jim. From like an affordability perspective, I mean, what people love, I think, about, minor league sports, this is professional sports, by the way. These are players that can play in the NHL, obviously, and have played in the NHL and will play in the NHL. But you always have something that works kind of for everyone's budgets, right? Whether it's the cost of food or the cost of beer or the ticket pricing. Can you get into some of that for people that are out there and thinking, hey, I'm looking for something that's affordable to do this weekend?
Yeah, and you mentioned it is pro hockey. It's professional athletes, but minor league pro is really about the community. It's really about the families and kind of getting an understanding of what's the game about, what's hockey all about, and you can bring your family of four and not get crushed in the pocketbook. So a perfect example, and not necessarily family friendly, but friend friendly, is every Friday night we do $5 beers. So we partnered with Mason Ale Works, and we created our own beer. It's called Light the Lamp Lager, which is a play on words for hockey. When you score, you light the lamp behind the net. So we have our Light the Lamp Lager, and it's $5 for every Friday night game. So come on out tomorrow night and check that out.
All right, so $5 beers tomorrow night. Again, as the Goals take on the Henderson Silver Knights at 7 p.m. Then we've got Saturday. All right, so Saturday is Winter Wonderland and a teddy bear toss, and that's at 6 p.m.
Correct.
And I asked you off air, I'm like, remind me again. I know teddy bear toss has been going on for a long time in hockey. I'm like, remind me again about the teddy bear toss. So for our listeners, what does that entail?
Okay, so this one is very family friendly. With this one, we're encouraging families to come, kids to come, and bring a teddy bear. And what we do is we encourage fans, as soon as we score our first goal, we encourage our fans to throw the teddy bears that they bring onto the ice, which normally is frowned upon.
Right.
But tomorrow or Saturday night, we're going to ask them to throw them out there. Then the players stop the game. They get shovels out. They clean up thousands of bears. We bag them up, and we donate them to local San Diego charities. So it's a really good kind of full circle moment where our fans can get engaged. They can donate the bears. The players score. They pick them up. We send them off, and it goes to Ronald McDonald and Rady Children's, and there's all kinds of great places that we send the bears. So it's awesome.
All right, so try to score in like the first 75 seconds on Saturday night. Again, the Goals playing Henderson on Saturday night. Now you also have a giveaway.
We do.
On Saturday as well. People love a good giveaway. I feel like that's one of the key tenets of whether it's Major League Baseball or minor league hockey. Everyone loves a good giveaway. What do you have this weekend?
Yeah, so as part of our Winter Wonderland, as you mentioned, we've got a pregame tailgate. So 4 p.m., come on out. We've actually we're shipping in snow. We're going to have a sled hill for the kids. So kids can go play in the snow. There's going to be hot cocoa. We're going to have holiday music. There's a food truck out there and games. And then as you come in, we've got what we're calling our San Diego Gulls Trapper
Look
hat.
at that.
So I don't know if we're on YouTube here.
I have let me put this on in front of our stream. Look at this Trapper hat.
So this is going very
sweet.
Canadian or very East Coast for those cold winter nights, but it's a Gulls colored hat. It's got the flaps that come down over the ears.
Super cool.
It's got our 10th anniversary logo on the front, so you can kind of rep your favorite team around San Diego if you go skiing or even go traveling to the East Coast or Canada. But that will be a giveaway for the first 8,000 fans on Saturday night as you come into our Winter Wonderland Teddy Bear Toss.
And thankfully not needed often in San Diego County, especially this week where the temperatures have been like in the 80s.
It's beautiful.
And that's why we're here. And of course, you can still experience hockey, but you can still live in San Diego with the Gulls. Tell us about the team. How has the team been performing?
Yeah, so it's been if you understand what we are the primary development team for the Anaheim Ducks.
Right.
So everyone on our team is either drafted by or signed by the Anaheim Ducks. They're the younger crew that is on their way up to the NHL. So it's really high-end hockey. If you haven't been, if you're familiar, you see guys that become future All-Stars in the NHL that come through here. And it's really fun to watch. So the team is great. We had a big win last night. We were up in San Jose. Boys won 3-1. We have 2 games this weekend against Henderson. Both those teams were battling for playoff spots. As of right now, the Gulls are in a playoff spot. It's a long season. We go until April, but as you know, in every sport, you need all the points. But the squad looks really strong. It's very good. A lot of high draft picks for the Anaheim Ducks.
And aren't the Ducks having an amazing year in Anaheim?
Out of nowhere, like they are so
right?
good. Yeah, first in the Pacific. And their players are performing. You draft these guys, they come through San Diego, they get to Anaheim, and the goal is, all right, let's see how they do. Well, they're doing well this year.
What do you find when people attend a Gulls game? Are they more concerned about whether the team wins or loses, or $5 beers, fun giveaway, good time with family and friends? Like when they leave the arena, do they know the score of the game? Or are they more concerned with having a good time?
As I mentioned before, it is a community asset almost. So I think our primary focus is to make sure that we're getting people in there and enjoying their time with their family. As we get closer to the playoffs and in the playoffs, it's all about the score.
Right.
So like if I were to summarize the early part of the season, it's was I able to get in at an affordable price? Did I see a fight? Did I have a good beer? Did I get a giveaway? Did my kids have a good time? It's kind of real family community. And then once we turn kind of into the new year, let's start looking at February, March. It's like, all right, are we a playoff team? Are we going to go far?
What makes it's interesting. We're with Matt Savant right now. San Diego Gulls again home this weekend. Make sure to get their tickets at sandiegogulls.com. We'll give away a 4-pack of tickets in the next handful of minutes. What makes San Diego? San Diego's been a great hockey market. What is it about San Diego, Southern California, maybe in general, that has had such a good appetite for hockey?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, it's the history of San Diego. So San Diego has been a hockey town since 1966.
Right.
The Gulls name and brand started in 66. So there's a lot of history, and I hear this a lot walking the concourse or around town. I used to go to Gulls games with my mom, my dad, my grandpa. And so there's that history, there's that line of connection. And then also there's been success over the years. If you look at the Anaheim Ducks in 2007, they won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
First one in California. Then the LA Kings won 2 in 11 and or might have been 12 and 14. So there was this kind of tradition of winning. And if you go back to the 90s, the San Diego Gulls of the 90s won 5 championships over 10 years. That's incredible. So it's this winning kind of culture, but also it's a long history.
Anything else you want our listeners to know about what's going on this season, this weekend, what they can expect? Maybe they haven't been to a Gulls game this year or in recent memory. Anything you want them to know about what to expect when they come out?
Yeah, what's kind of cool is this year is our 10th anniversary here in San Diego under this ownership. So we are the American Hockey League AHL. This is the highest level of hockey ever, and we started in 2015. So we're celebrating it with a lot of cool things. We have a new jersey, we've got a new logo, and kind of theme nights. When you come in, you'll see some nods to guys that played in 2015, 2020, just to kind of remember what it was like a couple years ago. But also this year, for the first time, we're able to personalized jerseys on the spot. We haven't ever been able to do that. So if you come tomorrow night and you buy one of our jerseys, you're going to be able to put your name and number on the back and have it for the end of the game, which is really cool. We're kind of proud of that. It took us a while to get there, but just some of those things are kind of fun. It's $5 beers, a lot of cool stuff on Saturday. There's a lot of unique things to minor league or minor pro hockey that people can experience for inexpensive. So we encourage you to come check it all out. It's a great time. I mean, I think a lot of San Diegans have experienced it. If you're listening to us right now and you haven't, you need to check it out. It's a great activity. It's great with family. It's great with friends. It's affordable, and tickets are available for this weekend at sandiegogulls.com.
All right, Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot in terms of a number. You're going to give me a number, let's say between like 1 and, what do you think, Brent? 1 and 15, we said earlier. Between 1 and 15, this caller is going to win the 4-pack of tickets for Friday night.
Great.
What's your number and maybe why?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'm going to go with 10 because it's our 10th anniversary right here in San Diego.
Perfect. You know what's funny? We just had an Aztec men's basketball player on, Miles Bird. He went with 10.
Oh.
How about that? And we said 1
Lucky
to
10.
15. So 10 it is. 877-767-4760. Call right now. Great giveaway. Holiday season. 4-pack of tickets plus parking. Coming up Friday night. Again, tickets at SanDiegoGoals.com. Call right now. We've got a 4-pack of free tickets for you Friday night. 877-767-4760. Look at those lines right here to watch the goals this weekend in San Diego. Matt, great to see you, my friend. Thanks for swinging by.
Thank you for having us on.
Appreciate it. Great stuff. All right, we are here until 6 p.m. Chris Hodge has free picks for our listeners coming up, college and NFL at 4:30. We continue on the other side. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Chris Hodge will join us coming up at 4:30. He's got free picks for our listeners. And I do want to remind you that San Diego Sports 760 congratulates all our $5,000 winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. There's still time for you to nominate a public school teacher making a difference, and maybe they'll be one of our next winners of $5,000 to make over their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. That is iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Jim, are you there? No, Jim's not there. Well, anyway, thank you, Matt Savant, for swinging by into the studio from the goals. You see this? Look at this trapper hat that I'm wearing. I kind of look like a bear or something. But this is a cool giveaway for Saturday night at the Goals game. You can grab tickets at SanDiegoGoals.com. We just gave away a 4-pack of tickets for Friday. We got a trapper hat for Brent as well. So make sure to get to the Goals this weekend here in San Diego. All right, so Chris Hodge will join us coming up at 4:30, and we'll talk about the NFL and college. I mean, where do you even begin in the NFL and college? I mean, where do you even begin? There's just so much going on right now. So we'll talk to Chris again coming up at 4:30. We touched on it earlier briefly. Phillip Rivers is expected or potentially starting on Sunday for the Colts in Seattle in one of the true, remarkable NFL stories that came completely out of left field that you never expected until all of a sudden his name was mentioned within the last 72 or 96 hours or whatever it was. So maybe we can get into that with Chris coming up. But he was also very kind. If you missed it earlier, we had the iHeartRadio Children's Give-a-thon over the last 2 days. I'm sure a lot of you that are listening right now heard us talk about this either Tuesday or Wednesday. And Chris just graciously called out of nowhere and made a $250 donation, and without us even knowing that he did that. And I think he's done it other years as well. So he's very gracious with his time and his money, and he's been terrific for our listeners. And he's going to join us again coming up at 4:30. The other thing we haven't really fully touched on today is Sean Lewis. We will have Sean Lewis on the show coming to his show. Oh, Jim is back.
Which I've been promoting all day long until I got cut off there.
Yeah, where were you?
Promoting the Sean Lewis show.
Yeah, I was prepping for the Sean Lewis show tonight.
What do you think of my Goals trapper hat?
It's a good look on you.
It is, right?
For an 80-degree weather outside in San Diego, that's a perfect look.
Dude, it has been...
I need that hat, actually. No joke.
It's pretty dope. It has been so nice. Again, we live in San Diego. There's a reason a lot of people live in San Diego.
Weather.
And yeah, one of those, exactly. The weather is a big part of it. But it's one thing to have good weather or nice weather. It's another thing to have perfect, perfection, which is what it has been for days on end right now in San Diego. So I don't necessarily need this hat. And by don't necessarily need this hat, I mean, I don't need this hat right now. But there are those nights. We all know there's nights. In January, February, I'm soft. You know me. I mean, it could be 66 out. I'm like, I need a hat.
You need a jacket at 60.
I'm always in a quarter zipper sweatshirt. And here, sometimes it gets cold in the studio.
It's very cold in that studio.
Right? There's nothing, I'm going to say there's nothing worse. We got people listening doing real jobs. And I'm like, there's nothing worse than when you're in the studio, it's a little chilly and your arms are cold.
What? I'm a little chilly. My arms are cold.
I'm a little chilly. Sean Lewis at 6 p.m. Trying to think. We got Aztecs are 2 weeks away from a bowl game in New Mexico against an 11-win North Texas team.
When do you start prepping for that?
That scores 45 points a game. I'm prepping. What do you need to know?
I need to know. Give me their quarterbacks. Give me what their quarterback does.
Everything. He leads the nation in passing. Is that good?
That's good.
He's thrown for over 4,000 yards and 30-something touchdowns.
What's his name?
His last name is Mestamaker. Drew Mestamaker.
Oh, nice.
Now, let's see if that's accurate. But I mean, it's an elite offense. Yeah, Drew Mestamaker, he's all he's done this year, Jim, is throw for 4,129 yards and 31 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And I want to say he's a former walk-on as well. So
is that good?
A terrific story. They have playmakers everywhere. Their offense is unbelievable. And again, we talked about this briefly yesterday. It's like strength on strength. You got the Aztec defense, you have the North Texas offense, but the caveat there is North Texas has a new head coach because their head coach left for Oklahoma State, and San Diego State's going to have a new defensive coordinator because Rob Orich left for Nebraska. So Demetrius Sumler, who's been on the Mesa a long time on the coaching staff, he's worked for both Brady and Rocky, I want to say. He's going to be the interim DC come 2 weeks from tomorrow, or 2 weeks from, no, not 2 weeks from tomorrow, 2 weeks from Saturday. So it's kind of like the ultimate challenge. When you're taking out a team that scores 45 points a game, like you're not going to hold them to 10 points. Sorry, not happening. So like if you hold them to 30, can you score 31? Or if you hold them to 28, can you score 29? It's a serious challenge, obviously, taking on an offense like that.
Yeah, it sounds like, especially with the fact that we don't know. Do we know yet about the status of like Chris Johnson? No.
That's a great question. I mean, it's a great point. That's such a big part of it. But you just have to assume you won't have your full complement of players. I'm sure it's the same for North Texas. Nobody wants to get hurt heading into a Senior Bowl. No one wants to get hurt heading into a transfer portal window, right? Because all these players have value, whether it's collegiately or professionally. So now some you want to continue to enhance your stock. I think there's a lot of value for players that need to enhance their stock, younger players, less proven players. But for other players, I mean, we're going to live in a world probably where we're going to get to the point where players like opt out of like a college football playoff game would be my guess. I don't know if that's happened yet, but like it's going to be a for who for what. Like you've got this, like I'm making up, defensive tackle for Ohio State. It's like, well, I'm going to go like top 5 overall. Do I really need to risk my stock eligibility or my status to play in this game?
But here's the thing: if I'm an NFL team,
right,
I would look at that as a red flag.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like I would want somebody who is just all about football.
Right.
I don't want the guy that is more concerned about the money than going out and, playing on Sundays or playing on, a football game to help his team win.
That's a good point.
That to me would be a major red flag. And I think that's why we're hopefully not going to see that, because like NFL scouts, they look at that.
Yeah,
that to me would be like, nope.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I hope you're spot on. I do not want to live in a world like, why do we love March Madness? Nobody's ever been like, oh, I'm not going to play in March Madness. I mean, no, everyone wants to win in March Madness. And with the college football playoff, you like to believe you're crowning, true national champions. Like it's a big deal. We didn't have it for a million years. They weren't playing playoffs in college football. So now that we have a playoff, I need to see the teams at their best. And hopefully we'll see that coming up later this month. All right, Chris Hodge is going to join us on the other side. He's got free picks for our listeners, college and NFL. It is Thursday Night Football, Jim. Did you realize that?
What?
Yeah. Have you been talking about the game?
Let me answer that for you.
Do you know who plays?
Do you know who's playing?
Do you know who's playing?
I sure do. Don't be looking. Teams. Don't be looking.
I'm not looking.
We can see you, right?
Yeah.
No, I know you can. I swear I'm not looking. I'm writing something else.
Yeah, you're writing something other than Bucks Falcons. All right. Chris Hodge on the other side. Stay with us, San Diego Sports 760.
is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with the Aztecs last night. They beat Lamar 89-71, thanks to Miles Byrd, who led the way with 19 points. Baseball hot stove, Robert Suarez today signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. And tonight is Deshaun Lewis Coaching Show, 6 to 7 p.m. with John Rich and Coach Lewis right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
All right, Chris Hodge back with us as he always is Thursday afternoons at 4:30. We're getting ready for Thursday Night Football. And Chris Hodge, you can hear him every Saturday at 8 a.m. Sports Investors Daily. He has been so terrific over the years for our listeners. And we need to thank you off the top, Chris, because this was very generous of you and completely unnecessary. You called in, unbeknownst to us, and made a very generous donation to the iHeartRadio Children's Give-a-thon this week. So you've done it before. You've done it over the years, and we're really appreciative of your support. Over $415,000 were raised over 2 days here in San Diego, and thank you, Chris, for playing a role in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a great thing to do. I've said this in years past with you guys. If it's kids, vets, and dogs, I'm in. I'll donate, man. Those are 3 things near and dear to my heart. So always a pleasure to help.
Yeah, no, we really do appreciate that. So thank you, Chris. And let's get to the action at hand, the work of the day, obviously. Atlanta and Tampa Bay to kick off another week in the NFL. So this is your free text pick tonight. We have Thursday Night Football. How can our listeners get this game as we kick off another weekend in the NFL?
Same as always, just text the word win to the number 545454. Very simple. I know it's not the most, attractive matchup tonight, but there's a point spread, there's a total. That means we have to do our very best to win the game, and we will look to do that. You got Tampa Bay's -5.5, total 43.5. So, tough game to call, divisional matchup. Obviously Atlanta stinks and Tampa Bay is not really playing well. So tough game to call for, if you're just out there and didn't do any research on it. So we'll try to hit it for you. Just text the word win to the number 545454, and you get it absolutely free.
All right, let's get to some games this weekend. One of the best games of the year, every year in college football, Army-Navy. What do we got for that game on Saturday?
All right, so I want you guys to know this. I have to use Army in this game, so I don't want anyone to go crazy on this because there's a particular reason why I have to use Army. My son is in the Army, and I really don't want to deal with him if I go with Navy because he would definitely have a problem. And he carries around a gun every now and again, so that could be a problem for me. But look, I do actually believe it's going to be a close game. Navy is the better football team, but when, a rivalry like this, you just throw that out the window. If you look at it from a gambling perspective, they've had 5 common opponents, these two teams this year. And if you look at their common opponents and how they performed in each game, it's been very even. I believe this game is going to be a close football game. Navy is giving Army 6, and I just think it's going to be a 3-point game either which way. Navy is the better football team. They do have the better quarterback, so in that particular situation, you don't want to go crazy on the underdog, but in a rivalry, both teams obviously very familiar with their offenses. They practice against it because they run the same exact offense. But listen, I'm going to take the points +6. That being said, the disclaimer here, I have to do that because I went with Navy last year. We won the game. I won money on it, and I had a miserable son walking around telling me, don't go to sleep. So I don't want to mess around with Army in this one. So for my son, we'll go with Army.
Army plus the points. Again, if you want tonight, absolutely free. We're talking about Thursday Night Football, Falcons, Bucks. Just text the word win to 545454. The word win, W-I-N, to 545454. Army-Navy, one of the true great rivalries in all of sports this weekend. Switching to Sunday. Where are we with the Chiefs? We've got Chiefs and Chargers this Sunday. What's the action here?
Before I get to that, I forgot to mention, I have to do this. I have another son who's in the Coast Guard, and I'm just happy they don't actually have a football team because that would really be a problem. So I get away with that. Chargers, Chiefs. Hey, look, I came on this radio show last week. I went with the Chiefs. I was wrong with that. Are we watching, the end? Right? Like, it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs. Travis Kelce, one of the great, tight ends of all time, possibly the best or maybe top 3, right? He don't look like himself. Pat Mahomes looks like he's struggling. The play calling looks like he's struggling. You could say, Andy Reid might have had one of his worst games calling plays in his NFL career, and that's saying something because he's an illustrious coach. They just don't look like the same, and now they're laying 5.5, 6 to what right now is the better football team. I know they got some injuries. They're a little banged up. They found a way to beat the Eagles the other night, but I just think that 5.5, 6 is a lot of points. If you look at the Chiefs' last 5 games, right? Just take the last month and a week, right? They've lost 4 of those games, and the one they won by 3, and they were lucky to win that game. They could have easily lost that game against the Colts. That's their last 5. So you look at, they played the Bills, the Broncos, the Colts, the Cowboys, and the Texans. Those are 5 pretty good football teams, and the best they could do is win by 3. I just don't think they're going to win this game by 6. So I'm going to take the underdog here. Underdog with Army, underdog with the Chargers. Wouldn't shock me if the Chargers went outright, and it would be the final nail in what's been a great, 8-year run for Kansas City, but all great runs come to an end.
So I got to ask this question here, Chris. One Christmas present for your wife, a Pete Alonso Orioles jersey or an Edwin Diaz Dodger jersey? What would you get her?
This is so great, man. I'm so happy you brought this up because she's listening right now. This is so great that this is happening, that they're fleeing the Mets because that's a miserable organization. And you know what's even better? I know you guys got some personal stuff with this. The Mets are trying to get your old closer, the guy that just went to Atlanta. They actually offered him more money than what Atlanta offered him, and he went to Atlanta. So not only did they lose their stars here, they can't get someone to come join them. And who do they get? The Yankee cast-off that no one wants, Devin Williams, who screwed up games left and right last year. So this can't be any more beautiful than the last 2 days. It's been great.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, coming off the train wreck that was the end of the 2025 season for the Mets, it certainly has not been a good start to the offseason either.
My phone is vibrating right now.
Oh, so she's listening in.
It might be the divorce text. This might do it. This might put her over the edge.
Chris Hodge with us right now. Again, if you want tonight, absolutely free. We're talking about Thursday Night Football, Atlanta and Tampa. Text the word WIN to 545454. That's WIN to 545454. Can we switch gears to the bowl season? I mean, where do you even go with what's playing out here? Notre Dame opts out. They're not in the playoff. What are we going to see when it comes to opt-outs in bowl games that are outside the CFP? In your world, how do you handicap here when it comes to college football bowl games?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Not going to lie, man. It's not only finding out who's not playing, but finding out who's stepping in. Is that a capable replacement? Like, how big is the drop-off? And there's a lot of times where that drop-off is significant and it impacts the outcome of a game. Right now the bowls have become, bowl season used to be great, right? And, the CFP, it was needed, but the one, downturn to it was it kind of killed bowl season. And there's so much money now in the NFL, you can't play in that bowl game if you're going to be a first-round draft pick. You can't play in that game. You have to opt out because there's too much money to be made on the backside, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So bowl season right now for the layperson, mostly 2 teams that, they didn't play in the same conference throughout the year. They haven't played similar teams throughout the year. So you have to do a lot of research in that regard. And then you have to research who's in, who's out, and what type of talent is actually playing in the game. Sometimes you can find great advantages like that. Sometimes you can't. It's definitely a tough situation. And look, I say this to people all the time, man. I got 20 people on my staff. We're researching this day and night, and there's times we're wrong, right? Like, we get it wrong. So if we get it wrong, you guys have no chance to get it right. It's impossible. It's that tough. Our goal is to win 60 to 65%. We generally do that consistently, but bowl season has been very hard.
Moving over to college hoops here, Chris. It seems like it's going pretty well for you this year so far. Could you just talk about that going into the conference play portion of the season coming up here later this month?
Yeah, and I know, John, you're coming on the podcast with me tomorrow.
Better believe I am.
Podcast. I'm so happy to have you on. Thank you so much for that. But in the podcast last week, we've always said college basketball is our best sport, and it always has been. We're off to a 32-18 start this year, which is 64%, which is, we want to keep it right around there. But to me, we struggled this college football season. I'm not going to lie. there were a lot of games that I feel we should have won that we didn't. Now, the gambler out there, the customer out there, they don't care about that, nor should they. They should only care about a one-loss record. That's it. But what I've watched in college football this year is you don't watch this in college basketball. You know, decisions get made in football that are crazy. The penalty calls have been out of control this year. There's less people on the court in college basketball than there are in, football. It's just an easier sport to control. There's no weather that you have to deal with unless they play on an aircraft carrier, one of those games. It's just the easiest sport to deal with. I've said that forever. I said that throughout my entire career. And, we're off to a 32-18 start this year, and we hope to keep it there.
You had one thing you got right last week was the ACC referees trying their hardest to make sure Duke didn't win that game. They tried.
Yep.
They tried. You were spot on that because
they tried, man. They called more penalties on Duke in that game. They were calling 15-yard penalties you didn't even know existed. They tried. But the thing about that game was Virginia is a garbage team too, right? They're not good. Right. So they tried to get them to beat Duke. And then the best is, I don't know if you guys caught this. This was hilarious. The Duke coach after the game says that, Tulane and James Madison, they don't play the ACC schedule that we play. Tulane beat them. Tulane beat Duke. Yeah. I'm like, how are you even allowed on television? Like, I don't get it. But I think I do think the CFP got it right. I just think they did it wrong. I think the right decision was to put Miami in over Notre Dame because the head-to-head, but Miami should have been over Notre Dame for 6 weeks.
Yeah, the whole time.
They just screwed it up.
Completely agree. Chris, what are we talking about tomorrow in this podcast? I'm looking forward to this. What do I need to know?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you'll talk about college sports in general. Sure. There's a rather big story that's going on today. I don't know if you guys have touched on it, but, with the Michigan coach, unfortunately, no one ever wants to see that.
What happened?
But I definitely, right.
Living under a rock.
Right. I want to, we'll talk about who we feel. Maybe this will be announced by tomorrow. You never know, but who we feel could be the next Michigan head coach. I think that's going to be. I think Michigan is a top 5 job. I still do.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely talk about that. Obviously, we'll throw some San Diego stuff in there, and we'll just have fun. I don't know if the listeners will be as happy because I've had a couple Playboy Playmates come on and they're more attractive than you and I. But I think the sports information will be a little bit better.
What are you saying? I'm kidding. Chris, appreciate
Massive
you, man.
Downgrade having John Schaefer on the show over a Playboy Playmate.
That's great.
We get similar clicks. All right. If you want tonight, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, text WIN to 545454. Catch Chris, Sports Investor Daily, every Saturday right here on 760 at 8 a.m. Chris, we'll connect tomorrow, and then we'll see you right back here on the radio next Thursday. Thanks for doing it, man.
And real quick, when that ding went off, she texted me 2009. That's what she texted me, 2009. But this is the Met fan for you. That's how they think.
Well, when's their last title?
1986.
Exactly.
They don't even make sense. The woman doesn't even make sense, but I'll deal with that when I get home.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, man.
All
right. Chris Hodge taking Vegas. All right, we'll take a time out here until 6 p.m. It's Sean and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. All right. If you missed Miles Bird, you'll hear a conversation coming up at 5:30. Aztecs another week off before they get ready for the Air Force Academy. And then in 9 days, Jim, I don't know if you realize this, they'll be in Phoenix taking on the number 1 team in America, which means there's no teams ranked higher than Arizona. Arizona is number 1.
Wait, what?
So if you're number 1, there's no number 0.
Oh,
Right?
I didn't know that.
So now remember, they played Michigan, and Michigan has blown the doors off everyone. Not to excuse it, but like look at the scores. Michigan just
It's crazy.
They just beat Villanova the other night by 30. I mean, it's everyone they play. Not that Villanova is better than some of the teams they played in Vegas, but every single night, like without exception, they're winning by 30 plus points. Arizona has been kind of similar to Michigan in terms of they're just beating up on good teams. So now we still have the Air Force game before we, go down that path. But yeah, I don't even know what to expect really. It's an amazing opportunity. It's basically a home game for Arizona because it's in Phoenix. And you can't look ahead because remember the Troy game. Like, the Troy game, you couldn't look ahead. They lost that in double overtime. Vegas was on the other side. So you have Air Force coming up. But I mean, me personally in the media, I kind of want to look ahead because number 1 is looming in just 9 days.
The thing here is the Aztecs, when you look at it, have had a pretty crazy non-conference schedule.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Baylor and Michigan and Oregon and Arizona.
But I'm just looking at Arizona and Michigan alone. Like
1 and 2, like in the metrics.
Yeah, like who has played the number 1 and number 2 team in the metrics like this year?
Or are they 1 and 2 in the polls right now? I don't have the AP poll. I know Arizona is, and I think Michigan's probably number 2, right?
I think they're 1 and 2 in the AP polls.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're 1 and 2. So what team in the country has faced the number 1 and number 2 teams in the polls this year?
Oh, actually, Auburn. Didn't Auburn get smoked by Michigan? In Vegas? Wasn't that the next day? Yeah, they did. They got hammered. And guess what? They just got hammered by Arizona on the 6th. So 4 days ago, or whenever that was, 5 days ago, they lost by 29 to Arizona in Tucson.
It's that's crazy. So Auburn and San Diego State are going to be the only 2 teams so far, unless we're missing one, that has played the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country this year.
And that's even amazing that there's 2 teams. You know what I mean?
Right. It's amazing that the Aztecs have those 2 teams on their schedule. And we'll see how they match up against Arizona. Didn't match up well against Michigan. Michigan blew the doors off of San Diego State, but they also beat up on everybody. They blew out Gonzaga by what, 30, 40?
Yeah, I think it was 40.
And Gonzaga's the number 8 team in the country.
Right. It's insane.
So like, it's going to be a massive test, and we'll see where they're at. We'll see if they're improved from the Michigan game, or if they're kind of similar to the Michigan game against Arizona. But man, it's a big test. It's a big opportunity, and it's not going to be easy.
No, the one thing I would say is we'll see if Arizona remains number 1. The reason I say it is they're playing number 12 Alabama in Birmingham this weekend. So they have to survive that. Now, they've already beaten number 3 UConn at UConn. They've already beaten UCLA. They've already beaten Florida. I mean, they've got amazing wins. They've beaten Auburn. So they could absolutely win or they could lose. It's still Alabama in Birmingham. But again, Aztecs and Wildcats in Phoenix a week from Saturday.
Do you think the Wildcats are the number 1 team in the nation because of Bryce James?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched them. I will leading up to this, but I haven't. I think I watched opening night. They played Florida and Vegas and they beat them.
You know who Bryce James is, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. It's called LeBron's son.
Correct.
Yeah. So
you want to know what his stats are this year?
Give them to me, yeah.
Just take a guess.
I'm going to say that he's averaging 1 point and 1 rebound.
You're close. He's averaging 0 points and zero rebounds because he's played in 0 games this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Bronny would kill for that stat line.
Seriously.
So he hasn't played.
He has not played a single game.
Probably because their team is absolutely loaded, first of all.
Probably,
number
yes.
1 in America.
Probably that. You're probably right.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about it. What's his like prospect status compared to his brother? Like, what's the ceiling on Bryce compared to Bronny?
I think that I have no idea.
Yeah,
honestly, I have no
either.
idea. I think because Bryce is like bigger than Bronny, he's a better prospect.
Okay.
But Bronny, I don't know, dude. They're both mid at best.
What's the Lakers schedule look like? Any chance LeBron's in Phoenix December 20th? For that
That's a
game?
good question.
It's so close, obviously, in the West.
Dude, you know what? You just reminded me.
Yeah.
We've gone, 2.5 hours? We almost gone 3 hours, and we haven't once mentioned the NBA Cup semifinal matchups.
Dude.
What is wrong with us?
I actually looked up tickets. I'm not kidding.
Because these semifinal matchups are kind of elite.
Well, the Western Conference is.
You got the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are beating teams by 60. And then you got your favorite team in the entire world, the San Antonio Spurs, with the return of Wemby on the horizon against the Thunder in Las Vegas. And then on the other side of the bracket in the East, you got the New York Knicks against the Orlando Magic. But Desmond Bain, if you remember recently, when he took a ball and threw it off OG Anunoby's
I do
head
remember
out of
that.
bounds?
Yeah.
And they got in a fight.
Yeah.
So there's some bad blood there.
I like that. So that's what by the way, I looked up tickets just to see, can you get in for $4 to the Magic Knicks game?
Right.
It's actually, it's more than that. When I looked this morning, Magic Knicks was around $70 to get in. And then the Thunder game at night, because I think there's a window, it's not a doubleheader. It's one game, then the next, I think.
It's 5:30. It's at, what is it? 2:30.
2:30 and 6.
6, yeah.
I think the 6 p.m. Thunder game, the get-in price is more like $100 to $120. Point is, it's not dirt cheap, but it's actually kind of reasonable if you wanted to go see the games. I mean, you could do it in Vegas for, I don't know, $70 to $120 a ticket.
Now, let me ask you this, because the Thunder are
100-point favorites.
Right. They're 10.5 point favorites.
Has any team ever started better than the Thunder? No, right? Isn't that correct now?
Warriors started 24-1. The Warriors started better than the Thunder. They went 24-0. And then they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, but at this point, the Thunder are 24-1. So they are still through 25 games. This has matched the best record in the history of the NBA, correct?
Correct.
So when did that Warrior team lose a second game? Do we know? In terms of the
That's
game,
a good question. I don't remember.
They'll tell you on TV.
Here's the thing. Go back and look at that Warriors record.
Yeah.
And in February they were 55-4. It was ridiculous how good that Warriors team was in the regular season. Postseason, not so much, but regular season, their record was stupid.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I think it's at least now a fair conversation. Are the Thunder going to do the same thing? Their winning percentage is .960. Okay, they're 24-1.
Do the Thunder are they must-watch television though?
I mean, Kristen loves watching them. I'm somewhat intrigued. I do enjoy Jalen Williams. They're good, man. I get you. It's a different style than those Warriors teams. Shea is not Steph in his prime, but he's a damn good player. And collectively as a team, who have they even lost to? Who did they lose to? Houston?
No, they beat Houston on opening night.
Who have the Thunder lost to? Does someone know that?
Who did they lose to?
It was 16 games ago. They lost to the Trailblazers in Portland by 2.
Jeez.
That's their loss. And you look at the scores of their wins, Jim, they've got 30-point win after 20-point win all year. So I get it. I'm not saying they're that Warriors team, but I'm also not saying they're not going to win as many games as that Warriors team.
I'm trying to look here at the Warriors 2015-2016 schedule here.
They were pretty good. When did they lose their second game?
They were 29-1.
29. So the Thunder still have to win a lot of games.
When they lost their second game.
Amazing. Now, one of these games for the Thunder doesn't count if they make the championship of the NBA Cup. It's not even a regular season game. They can lose that one. It's
fine. At one point in their season, John,
they were 29-1.
Do you remember that epic game against OKC that went that Steph Curry went off?
No, I don't.
Hit the game winner.
Maybe if you showed it to me.
Oh wait, no, yeah, it was in overtime. You remember it? Curry from way downtown.
Oh yeah, and he
the
kind of just like
double bang.
held the like pose a little bit.
The double bang by
Yeah.
Mike Breen, right? It's one of the most, I mean, it's iconic shot. It's one of the best regular season games ever. After that game, which was February 27th, the Warriors were 53-5.
They struggled from that point on, though.
And let's see here. They, on March 3rd, they were 55-5. And then they lost to the Lakers and yeah. But
I wonder how far the Thunder can take this is my question in the regular season. How motivated will they be? Because apparently they're pretty damn motivated.
I think if the noise continues to get louder and louder, because right now, I don't really hear much being talked about the Thunder. Everyone's just kind of like, Thunder are really good. I mean, we can talk about it more next hour, but I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how they react if they get to a 40-3 part of their season.
That's crazy. All right. On the other side, Miles Bird, if you missed it, at 5:30, our conversation with the Aztec standout guard, back to the Padres and all these rumors circulating around their baseball team and much more. We'll get to this NBA Cup as well in the Thunder. Final hour, John and Jim coming up next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with the Aztecs. Last night, they beat Lamar 89-71. Miles Bird led the way with 19 points. Baseball hot stove today. Robert Suarez signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. And tonight, 1 hour from now, is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show from 6 to 7 p.m. with John Rich and Coach Lewis right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites. $7 gets you the fancy stuff. And 9 sends you on a journey for flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 4 of John and Jim, the final hour. And if you miss Miles Bird, you'll hear him coming up at 5:30. The Aztecs standout junior guard. You know how you said we kind of buried the NBA Cup lead a few minutes ago? You know the other lead we actually buried that is of more significance potentially?
Hold on. Let me think. Have we talked about it?
No.
No, like me and you, like personally.
No. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, then what?
Maybe you did. The Dennis article today, where in the article about Tatis being untouchable, he mentions the fact that the Padres have entertained outside interest in Ramon Laureano, whatever that means. I mean, listened.
Oh my gosh.
Listened on Ramon Laureano.
Guys, here's the thing.
I'm listening.
Every single player is being talked about, whether it's serious or not. And
you're saying they're gonna pick up the phone.
Yeah, they're picking up the phone.
It's kind of their job, right?
Yeah, they're picking up the phone because there's an off chance Preller gets this crazy deal that he's like, oh, have to do it.
Right.
Like if the Pirates called tomorrow, it was like, look, we'll give you Paul Skeens if you give us Fernando Tatis Jr.
Right. Well, then of course.
Well, then AJ Preller. He can't say yes fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
But those things aren't happening.
Right.
But there are teams that are calling on Fernando. And because AJ's picking up the phone and talking about it, however realistic it is, which it's not, then those people that called the Padres about Fernando leak this to the media. And then the media goes, well, the Padres are listening on Fernando or the Padres are listening on Ramon Laureano because the team that's calling about said player is leaking that the Padres picked up the phone to talk about said player.
Right.
Whether, however serious or not the Padres are, which my guess is they're not serious on a lot of these players. They're just having discussions about them. But then it's being twisted into a narrative that the Padres are basically open for business for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, your point's valid. I mean, it's not really newsworthy that they'd be listening on any of their players. I mean, that is kind of the point of the offseason. And certainly AJ Preller has made a name in being, among the more active general managers in the history of the sport, truthfully. What is Laureano's deal? He's under contract for 1 more year, right? He's coming off a career season. He was an impactful piece. He got hurt late in the season. You'd like to think he provides certainly value for you. He had a 4-WAR season last year. He had an 855 OPS. He's only 31, and he doesn't make a lot of money, right? So that's why you got a guy that was impactful, that's under control. I would hope that a player like Ramon Laureano provides value for the Padres in 2026, honestly.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that does scare me about Ramon Laureano is last year was kind of a career year for him.
It definitely was. Yep.
And I think things would have been different if he didn't break his finger before the postseason.
Good point.
We forget about that. But again, everybody has injuries. Everybody's got to deal with it. It was just a tough break.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended.
Literally.
Can he replicate that? Can he put together another season like he just had in 2026?
That's a great point.
I mean, I don't know the answer to that. He's not this very consistent player. Like if I'm looking up his stats here, John, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal year last year, a 3.8 WAR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great year.
That's a great year. You want to know also what his year was last year?
What?
The best year of his
I
career
know.
by a mile.
Career year. You're right.
Maybe not by a mile. I mean, he was great as a 24-year-old in Oakland when he had a 3.5 WAR, where he had 29 doubles, 24 homers. He had 288 with an 860 OPS.
Yep. Very
This
similar
past
year.
year, this past year, he had 26 doubles, 24 homers. This is total.
Yep.
281 with an 855 OPS.
Very similar.
Very similar. But there's a giant gap there from 2019
Yeah.
to 2025.
So are you okay? So under that theory, you could be selling high on a player that's got 1 year of control. That, by the way, is due $6.5 million next year, which for the Padres is not a laughing matter. It's a good amount of money, a reasonable amount of money. Would you prefer the high return on Laureano or his productivity for $6.5 million? Again, without the assurance he's going to have an 855 OPS, would you take Laureano at 6.5 with a 795 OPS, playing basically every single day as a 31, 32-year-old? Or would you take the return? You take the $6.5 million back, you get a return, and you address some of these needs.
Look, I thought Ramon Laureano, when he came here in 50 games with the Padres last year, was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree.
But you might have a situation here where you might want to sell high.
Interesting.
Because I'm looking at these numbers, John, and I'm sure you have the numbers in front of you.
I
If you
do.
don't, it's kind of tricky, right? To think that a guy that just hit 30 years old, all right, who just played a career high in games last year, is going to replicate that going forward. Because if you told me right now he's going to hit 26 doubles and 24 homers and have an 855 OPS next year, then no, you're not trading him. That's a huge piece to your team. But if you tell me that he only plays, I don't know, 105 games next year,
Mm-hmm.
and he hits 18 doubles and 9 home runs, and he hits 224 with a 676 OPS, which was his year
Right.
in 2023, I will say, man, you should have traded him when you could.
What about in the middle?
What's the middle?
Between those 2 years? I mean, between 2023 and 2025, for example.
So 98 games, he had 16 doubles, 11 homers, 259 with a 748 OPS.
Probably not good enough. You know, that's kind of who the Padres are. They need more production than that offensively.
And that's a platoon player, by the way. Like, I'm looking, last year was a career high in plate appearances, a career high in at-bats, a career high pretty much across the board.
He played against lefties and righties, obviously, a year ago.
Yep.
And he hit both lefties and righties a year ago.
So,
yeah.
Do you look at it like he unlocks something?
Right. Or was it an outlier?
Right.
By the way, the Padres just sent out a tweet for the first time in like a month.
Oh, it must be nice.
And the tweet is thanking Dylan Cease for his time in a Padres uniform, forever in the history books, for throwing the second no-hitter in franchise history. Thank you, Dylan. Now, remember, he signed with the Blue Jays a while ago. I was in Las Vegas. So when was that? It was a week and a half ago?
Well, the Padres digital team needed to, needed some time. Needed some time to make this graphic.
So they have sent out a thank you.
They're a
to
little behind.
Dylan Cease, who, again, I think he was even introduced to the Toronto media days ago.
Right. The Mets have already released thank yous to Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz.
And that just happened.
Right. So, I mean, Padres, again,
where were you?
It's who the Padres are.
Do you feel like a thank you is necessary for Dylan Cease's time here? Serious question.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did throw a no-hitter. He had a very nice 2024.
He finished, third in Cy Young or fourth in Cy Young in 2024?
And had the no-no.
Had the no-no. He was a complete train wreck in the postseason.
He was, and he wasn't good last year.
No, he was not good last year. And for some reason, we celebrated him pitching 3 scoreless innings in game 3 of an elimination game like it was the greatest thing ever. But, yeah, look, dude got a bobblehead. Dude threw a no-hitter.
True.
Finished fourth in Cy Young. I mean,
he got $200 million on the other side of this year.
Exactly. For some reason. I mean, which is insane.
It is insane.
But anyway, I mean, the Ramon Laureano thing, like, it is interesting. Like, if you don't go and look at Ramon Laureano's career and you just go off of what he did last year. You look at this report and you're like, are you kidding me? No way. But then you dive deeper into his career and you have to ask the question, was last year an outlier because it was a career year? Or did he unlock something for his future where it's going to be similar to what we saw last season?
Here's my guess as what Dan Zimborski would tell us. Probably somewhere in the middle. You know, like it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems.
Right.
The odds of replicating are probably low, and the odds of him exceeding career averages, that might be reasonably high. But it's it's somewhere in the middle. It would be my guess.
But the one thing that he does bring to the table, if his offense is going to be sporadic right here, right?
Yeah.
He does bring elite defense in the outfield. I mean, the outfield defense for the Padres
Insane.
with if they had Ramon Laureano and Merrill and Toddy all healthy, like good luck finding a gap.
Yeah, you're saving runs everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. And he's like scrappy. I like him. I think he's a winner. I do like Ramon.
I do
Laureano.
too.
I like
do
him.
too.
Now, again, are you a corner outfield bat that's going to hit 40 home runs? Never. You know, he probably doesn't replicate what he hit last year in terms of home runs. Next year would be my guess, but I like him. I think he helps you win. My preference, keep him. Could I entertain moving him? Yeah, probably. But my preference would be to keep him. All right, Miles Bird coming up at 5:30. We are here until 6. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. The graphics keep coming out from the Padres media team, Jim, at this hour. They're just busting out the graphics.
Let me guess.
Yeah, don't look.
I didn't look. Is it a
Thanking
thank you for
everyone.
Robert Suarez?
Yep. Actually, gracias, they said.
Oh, gracias. Because they have to make it Spanish.
Had to.
Of course.
Now, here's the thing. If I'm making a graphic for one, I'll give it to Suarez. Guy led the National League in saves. I think he's been a very good Padre. Appreciated, not underappreciated. At times had his struggles. I liked him. I think he's a very solid player. I wouldn't have spent the money. Win-win. We called it earlier, I think. Like the Padres don't need him right now. He gets more money than he was making. A good decision by him to opt out. He's at least doubling up, if not more than that, maybe tripling up on his contract. So I do wish him well. I wish still. I mean, I have no ill will towards any of these players, but Robert Suarez is a very good Padre.
No, he was a very good Padre. Led the league in saves, a multiple-time All-Star.
Yeah.
He did have his, moments where it was shaky. And then once we all saw Mason Miller, we're all like, Robert Suarez who?
Good point.
But yeah, I mean, he was a good Padre. He was a good closer for the team. He did have some pretty historic bad moments with the club, like that are not going to be remembered fondly, like the home run he gave up to Bryce Harper in Game 5 of the NLCS in Philadelphia.
Wasn't great.
Not great. I put more of that on Josh Hader.
True.
Than Robert Suarez.
That's a long time ago now, but yeah, you're right.
And also the fact that it was Bryce freaking Harper.
He wasn't even a closer at the time, obviously, Suarez.
No, he wasn't. But Bryce Harper hit a 99 mile per hour pitch on the paint, on the black, over the left field wall, which is literally incredible. Like maybe Manny could do that one day, maybe. But I look at the Padres social media right now. They have the last couple tweets here. They got Robert Suarez, gracias, thank you. We have thank you, Dylan Cease.
Got Ty Adcock.
We have Mexico series is back. Yay.
I like that.
We got thanks Logan White as he retired. We got what is it? Oh, the Padres retweeted Craig Stammen on MLB Network. That's nice. We got welcome to San Diego, Dyson Acosta. And then they have the single game tickets on sale, and it's sandwiched in between the Ty Adcock signing and the Dyson Acosta move, which is just perfect.
So it's more when you think about, okay, the additions are Acosta and Adcock. The thank yous are Dylan Cease and Robert Suarez.
Right.
And Logan White.
And right? Logan White. Yeah, they've had more retirements in the organization than actual real signings.
Retirements and departures have certainly doubled up.
Yeah.
Tripled up, quadrupled up.
100%.
Sizable additions. Yeah. It's been that kind of start to the offseason. And that's my concern with the idea that, man, look out for what they're about to do.
Right. How could you say that? I mean,
because if it doesn't come true, it's like, oh, gosh, let down again.
I know. That's the thing. It's just like, hey, watch what we're going to do. They've done nothing.
Again, is there time? We always have these conversations. Of course there's time. Now, I would say this. Oftentimes, the second half of December is very quiet in baseball. Post-winter meetings, I mean, now you're pushing up on the holidays. Now you get to January, and now you have the early spring training because of the WBC. We didn't even talk at all about that because we've already known it. The reports are Tatis and Machado will play in the WBC. The WBC caused all kinds of issues for the Padres in 2023. Not directly.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked. You're right. We haven't even talked about
indirectly, this. The WBC, and even Preller was quoted on this. He's like, we're going to look at how we did things because 2023, maybe the WBC played a role in our disappointing season. He didn't say it, but that's what he was saying. Their whole team is going to be on WBC rosters, Jim. Craig Stammen's going to be in that spring training clubhouse, and nobody's going to be there.
Well, who's officially on these rosters other than Tatis and Machado?
Bogarts will play for the Netherlands.
Okay.
We could absolutely see a Merrill or a Pivetta playing in the WBC.
Team USA?
Absolutely.
About
not Musgrove, obviously.
No. I think. What about like Adrian Morahone or Jeremiah Estrada?
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I guess we'll learn more. But they'll have. Last time they had 8 players, I think, on WBC rosters.
I think the last time the WBC happened, which was
23.
that disaster of a season in 23.
Mm-hmm.
Like that season leading up to it had so many issues and so many things that were going into the year where they were a pretty newish team.
Yep.
And they made some pretty sizable moves, and they didn't really get to gel as a club. I think they've cited that as a problem.
Yep.
Manny came into spring training and made it all about himself.
Good point.
Which was, I mean, the people don't talk about it like that. I mean, we talk about it, but it's not talked about enough. Is like, you guys realize Manny hijacked 2023 to get his money, right?
Yeah, because like he essentially said, like, "Where's my money?" After Bogarts, right?
Right. He acted like a child and was like, no, give me what I want. I want money.
Yep.
I saw he got a lollipop. I want three lollipops.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so hijacking spring training, making it about himself, getting the money from Peter. Right. And then the season was just a downward spiral. And oh, by the way, behind the scenes, Bob Melvin and AJ Preller, they couldn't get along. I think it would be different this time around unless there's some major moves, right? But for the most part, like these guys have played together for a while. They're not, it's not new, right? They're not dealing with like 7 new players in the club.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could. We still don't know how the offseason is going to pan out, right? It's very quiet. Nothing's happened. Preller could make a bunch of moves tomorrow. Who knows? I think it will be different this time around, just as long as, like, I'm cool with the position players going. I don't want to see Pivetta. I don't want to see Musgrove. I don't want to see Miller. I don't want to see Morahone. I don't want to see any of the pitchers in the WBC.
I hate the idea of the pitchers going. Despise it. And I recognize there's going to be a lot of pitchers in the WBC. John fact.
I just don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it either. I think it causes more harm than good. I don't care who wins the WBC. I do care who wins the World Series. I don't care who wins the WBC. I don't. Mm-hmm. It's great. But it was good theater last time. It was. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. But I am against it when it works to the detriment of your local team. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if it impacts the Padres, to me, it's not. I'm not cool with that. I'm just not, truthfully. All right, Miles Bird on the other side. San Diego State winning last night over Lamar. Miles returning to form with 19 points. Had a great overall game. You'll hear our conversation with Miles Bird on the other side right here on John and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. The Players Place, as you know, now open as their hotel and spa. It is the next level of luxury, and you can treat yourself to a stunning new stay with rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
And savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23. From their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to the luxurious VIP endless dining experience each evening, you can indulge in chef-created specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
You're going to love the spa. You really will. It is now open at Jamul. You can unwind in style, experience pure relaxation with indulgent treatments, serene spaces, and a retreat designed to refresh your body and mind, only at Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. San Diego State last night picking up another win over Lamar, 89-71. Miles Byrd led the way with 19 points. Baseball hot stove today. Robert Suarez signed a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. And tonight, about 30 minutes from now, is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show, 6 to 7 p.m. with John Rich and Coach Lewis right here on San Diego Sports 760. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings Box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites. 7 gets you the fancy stuff. And 9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores. For a limited time, prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
All right, Jim's back page is coming up. Do you want to thank all of you, as well as ESET, SeaWorld, Cable Pipe, and Leak Detection, and Crowley Car Company for your support of the Rady Children's Hospital and giveaway this holiday season. For the past couple of days, we've shared stories of hope and healing from the Rady Children's patients and their families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. It is not too late. You can still make a donation right now by texting SPORTS to 34984. That's SPORTS to 34984 or at radyfoundation.org/giveathon. If you miss Miles Byrd, Aztecs standout junior guard, 19 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 4 assists last night in a win over Lamar. We had him on earlier. We started the conversation by asking what the last week was like for Miles. He wasn't healthy last week against Utah Valley, back healthy last night.
I think just really good practices. Obviously wasn't feeling the best in the Utah Valley game. And I think I just had the week to kind of sit on that performance, sit on how I play. I mean, we won the game, which is the most important thing. But from a personal standpoint, just coming in, practicing hard every single day, stacking days. And, I think that's what led to a positive performance today or yesterday.
You guys getting back on track here with a win over Utah Valley and then a win last night against Lamar, putting up some big numbers, 77 points against Utah Valley, 89 points against Lamar. It feels like your guys' offense here might be clicking, especially with the emergence of BJ Davis coming off the bench to providing a spark for you guys. How confident are you guys offensively right now that you guys can put up some big numbers?
Yeah, I think it just mirrors, our work ethic. I think there's everybody on the team gets extra work in every single day. And, I think with that comes confidence and, the way that we're playing right now offensively, just a lot of space and freedom within the offense. You got a lot of confident playmakers out there able to, put their best display forward.
Miles Byrd with us right now on John and Jim. There's been so much chatter this entire offseason into the season about the depth, right? The rotations, the amount of sheer talent on this team. How do you feel about how, the roster continues to come together? We touched on this a little bit last night, but you almost can come at teams in waves where there could be, 3, 4, 5 player substitutions at any moment. How has that benefited you?
Yeah, I think it's just energy wise, we all have the understanding that you could go and exert yourself out there and you have a sub ready for you. I mean, how deep we are, how talented we are, I think it's just going to continue to gel more and more the more we play together. I think it's starting to show a little bit more, but I think as time goes on, it's just going to become more and more complete.
And for people out there that might think, oh, they have so much depth, it should click right away. Like, it takes time, right, to figure out all these roles and lineups and substitution patterns, right?
100%. 100%. That's the game of basketball. When you have so many guys that can play and that do play, it's not like you're out there for 8 minutes trying to get a feel for yourself. You got to kind of find a rhythm pretty quickly and play really, really hard.
You said something to me last night that I thought was a really, good leadership quality. I was just, off the cuff talking about the defense, kind of turning it to the offense. You said the defense not being up to par, so to speak. You said it starts with me. Clarify on that, because you've been considered one of the better defensive guards, not just in the Mountain West, but in the country. Where do you think you can continue to improve on the defensive side?
Yeah, I think just vocally, being more solid. I think, last year, I was able to display it a lot, just how disruptive I can be defensively. And I don't think I was shown it the first few games. And, with that, when you get a deflection, it automatically brings more energy and momentum towards the team. And when you get a steal, fast break dunk, stuff like that. I think that's what I've been lacking this year, which I think ultimately hurts our defense. And I'm just trying to get back to that side of myself where I'm out there really just trying to disrupt the team's offense. And you got BJ, who's one of the best on-ball defenders in the country, Goon, who's one of the best shot blockers in the country. I think just being more solid as well would help out.
You mentioned BJ Davis, and we talked about him. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, but he's been a real big contributor off the bench for you guys. He had 16 more points last night. I think he's one of the leaders in the nation with points off the bench this year. Just how big is it for your team to know that you guys have pretty much an instant bucket coming off the bench for you when some of the starters are going to the bench?
Yeah, I mean, whenever BJ comes on the court, I'm super, super confident that it's going to be a great display of basketball. I mean, he's one of the, in my opinion, one of the swaggiest players, that I've played with. But like just BJ, I started every single game with BJ last year, so I understand what he's about. I understand he's a starter, and it's tough sometimes when you go from being a starter every game to being the sixth or seventh man. And I think BJ buying into that role has allowed him to have the success that he's had. I think mentally he's in a great spot, and he's just providing so much spark off the bench for us as a team, which is just going to make us better.
I mean, we sometimes forget, but like Jaden Ledee came off the bench at San Diego State for a year. Matt Mitchell came off the bench. There were probably Jordan Shackle came off. I mean, some great players, right? Like it's kind of part of the game. And in basketball, of course, you could come off the bench and still play 39 minutes. It's not like baseball or another sport. Miles Bird with us right now on John and Jim. I didn't ask you this last night and I regretted it, but I'm so glad you're on today. Take me through your Dr. J-like layup attempt where you got fouled and you had the English on it. And I know you were mad that it didn't fall because it looked like for a moment it was going to go in. What are you thinking in that moment? Because that was as acrobatic of a play as we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were going to start flying at me at three, so just trying to incorporate a shot fake into it. And shot fake, was able to get to the baseline, and I didn't realize how big or how far the big was going to step out. So I was really like, when I was driving, I was thinking try to go dunk it, but he stepped out pretty far when I was in the air, and I realized that. And I mean, driving right, it helps me out since I'm left-handed to try to get like a reverse left-hand layup, and kind of just got down there and put as much spin on the ball as possible, threw it up there, and from my angle on the ground, it looked like it was going in, so I jumped up to go celebrate, and I realized it fell out.
for those types of moves and trying to spin it as much as you can off the back, do you practice those things? Like, how much do you practice, or is that just instinction?
I think just experience playing the game. I mean, growing up, I feel like every kid does like the micing drills and stuff, and as you get older, you maybe develop that drill a little bit more and do more that involves spinning the ball off the backboard a certain way and stuff. And I mean, ultimately, when you're on the court, it's just a field thing, I think.
I feel like that would have been like top 6 on SportsCenter, by the way. I said 4th earlier. It could have been higher. I'm telling you, that thing would have ended up on SportsCenter if it went home last night. Miles Bird with us right now on John and Jim. One more from me, Miles, before you go. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say you were at a food bank event earlier today as part of the community work you're doing through the Mesa Foundation with the San Diego Food Bank. What's it like? You've done so many community events through the Mesa Foundation. What's that experience been like for you?
It's been awesome, honestly. I think just us getting, and not even giving back because we're doing that, but just being in the community, meeting true San Diego people that are from San Diego, born and raised, and just feeling like a part of this community has been amazing. Obviously, we've done a lot of the food bank stuff. We've been partnered with Feeding San Diego as well. So, I mean, just being with them in a time like this definitely is important for us as a team, as a group, and as a program.
Miles, congrats, man, on last night. Appreciate you doing it again this afternoon, and we'll see you next week at VA House, all right?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Miles Bird, Aztecs junior guard.
Miles Bird, Aztecs
Bird.
junior guard.
All right, so Jim's back page is coming up. Before we get here's a John back page. Before we get to Jim's back page, it's not a back page; it's a front page. Honestly, in the national sports world,
is this what does that have to do with net rankings?
No, college football.
Of course,
not Sharon Moore.
Okay,
do you know where I'm going?
No clue.
LSU and Ole Miss.
Oh,
is September 19th, and there will be a lot of credentials out for that game. LSU at Ole Miss is Saturday, September 19th. Lane Kiffin returning to Oxford, Mississippi. So that in the college football world will be one of the games of the year. Imagine the ratings for LSU and Ole Miss back in Oxford. Imagine the scene. You think he gets booed?
I think he'll get booed, John.
Imagine
I think
the
he's going to have
security.
some. I think he's going to have a lot of security.
Yeah, I think so too. But that now is officially official. We knew LSU was playing at Ole Miss. They will play early in the season, September 19th, 2026, the return of Lane Kiffin. Who knows? Ole Miss could be a national champion when they get there. Who knows? Unlikely, probably, but they could be because they are in the playoff. All right, we will get to Jim's back page on the other side. We do have the Sean Lewis show. Speaking of college football, we will get into the North Texas game coming up in 2 weeks. The loss of Rob Orich, the Aztecs defensive coordinator, departing for Nebraska, transfer portal retention, everything that goes into the crazy world of college football. We'll get into that with Sean Lewis coming up at 6 p.m. But on the other side, Jim's back page. That's next on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim. Final time here on this Thursday. Sean Lewis Show is coming up in less than 15 minutes at 6 p.m. Rumor has it we'll have another show tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Who's on the show tomorrow? Greg Camarillo.
Greg Camarillo's on the show tomorrow.
Greg will be on the show tomorrow. So, yes.
LeBron James is going to be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we have, who else do we have? I'm just looking at this right here real quick.
We'll talk to Robert Suarez.
We have Michael Jordan at 6:01, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, exactly. 6:01 p.m. or a.m.?
AM and PM. We're having a double dose of John and Jim tomorrow, just for the listeners out there.
He's joining Dan Patrick at 6:01 a.m. He's joining whatever show is on at 6:01 p.m.
Right.
Here, whatever show that is.
Yeah, The Odd Couple. That show needs a little bit of a boost.
What's been going on with The Odd Couple?
I can tell you what's going on with The Odd Couple. It's a whole. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to say what I want to say.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Make sure to tune in tonight. Well, actually, you can't unless they're still on at 7. Who's on at 7?
Good.
Jason Smith?
That show's awesome.
Man, I love that show.
Jason Smith and Michael Harmon. Love Mike
them.
Harmon.
Love them. Love that show. So tune in. Sean Lewis Show coming up in about 10 or so minutes right here at 6 p.m. But right now, let's get to this.
All right, John.
Yeah.
We'll start with this. We haven't talked about this at all. And another lead that we have completely buried here. YouTube TV is expected, and you know where I'm going with this.
Of course.
Expected to launch a sports-focused skinny bundle. No price has been announced for the upcoming package, but it will be more affordable than the current $82.99 per month rate for the service's base plan.
But here's the thing. So I talked to Kristen about this. I'm like, she still watches the other channels. This is good for single dudes, in my opinion. Because if Kristen's watching Bravo, you can't just go straight to the sports tier. Like, yeah, if it were me, if it was $62 as opposed to $82.99, I'm in. And hopefully it's less than $62. But I'm in. But like if you're married, you're not just going to watch the sports bundle, right?
It's called Get Hulu, John.
But then you're saying get rid of YouTube TV?
No, all right, let's just say the sports bundle is
$50.
$50.
Okay, $50 for only sports. Now I want to watch them, and by me, I mean Kristen wants to watch Bravo, right? It's not me.
Hulu, I think, is like $12.
And that Hulu with live television is $12?
No. Hulu that gets all the Bravo shows.
But but they're not on in real time, right? Like if Bravo airs Real Housewives of San Diego at 8 p.m. Tuesday night, can Kristen watch at 8 p.m. Tuesday night on Hulu, or is it like the next day?
Probably the next day.
Which is fine, probably.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So that's like $12. Okay. So now you're at $62 for just the sports and all the trash from Bravo and,
Right. So you're
ABC
saving $20.
Yeah, you're saving about $20-$25.
Which is a lot, which is actually a lot of money over a year.
Yeah, the offering, John, will include all of the major broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC, the ESPN family of cable networks, including ESPN Unlimited, TNT, TBS, True TV, FS1, and the newly launched NBC SN.
Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Yes, that does. It does.
And I'm curious to see what the price is for this, but I can tell you in my household, the second that they come out with a price that's lower than this, which is hopefully around like $50, I'm going to switch to that so fast because Erin doesn't watch YouTube TV. All she does is stream and watch her shows on like Hulu or Netflix, right?
So you already have Hulu.
I have Hulu.
But why do you even need Hulu if you have YouTube TV?
Well, because on YouTube TV, I still need to watch the sports.
No, but I'm saying, why does Erin watch it on Hulu? Because couldn't she, if she's watching, in your example, or my example, Bravo, right? Mm-hmm. Couldn't she just watch it on YouTube?
Yeah, but there's also other things on Hulu.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's like a Netflix, but it's for like cable stuff.
Yeah,
so anyway, I don't know. I probably should look into it because I'm paying for all these freaking
It adds up,
things.
dude.
But anyway, so that looks like it's coming, and I can't wait because it's about damn time.
Okay.
Krispy Kreme, John, is offering a dozen donuts for $1 on one day only. Great news for donut lovers. Krispy Kreme is once again offering a dozen glazed donuts for just $1. The deal is good only tomorrow on 12/12.
Just tomorrow.
Yeah, just tomorrow. Here's the catch, though.
Okay.
Because there's always a catch. You must buy a dozen or 16 count minis at the regular price.
That's not that much of a catch, is it?
Kinda, because it's like they're promoting get a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts for $1. But then you get there.
Yeah, he's just kidding.
You're like, oh, by the way, you have to purchase this other thing at full price to get the $1 Krispy Kreme dozen donuts.
I feel like there's always a catch.
There's a catch with everything in life.
Everything. I mean, that's the whole point. They're not. in the
Nothing
business of
is just
losing.
simple.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nothing is simple.
Right.
So anyway, if you want to get scammed out of some donuts, go there, Krispy Kreme tomorrow.
Scammed out of donuts.
On eBay right now, John.
Okay.
If you want,
I do.
would you want a vintage NBA 1985 Manute Bol Washington Bullets game used warm-up jersey and pants?
Not necessarily. They'd be very big.
They'd be very big. But if you would like that, it's only going on for $9,999 on eBay right now.
10 grand?
10 grand for that.
I don't need. Who's buying that?
I don't know.
I mean,
Somebody.
Probably. Manute Bowl warm-ups?
Yeah, he wore game worn.
Okay. I mean, wait, is it bid up to 10,000 or buy now for 10,000?
Buy not for 10,000.
Okay, so no, we don't even know if anyone's bid like $20 on this thing, or like what it's actually worth. Like, what do you think somebody would reasonably pay for that? You think someone will pay 10 grand?
Probably.
Yeah, it's a big world.
It's kind of crazy how like large this is. It's like
huge.
It's like the tall as the ceiling.
Who's gonna buy that? Like Chet Holmgren,
Sean Bradley.
Yeah,
Sean Bradley. Yeah.
Like, imagine us in that outfit.
Yeah, it would be too big on us, John.
We'd be swimming in that, dude.
Correct. Finally,
Okay.
some In-N-Out locations are removing 6-7 from orders amid the
Saw
viral
that.
6-7 trend.
That's insane.
Most of them have.
So some In-N-Out burger locations are apparently saying bye-bye 6-7 after the viral trend wreaked havoc on many of its restaurants. An employee of Los Angeles a location told People magazine that the change was made about a month ago, adding that the company has also banned the number 69.
They're just going to ban everything. What if there's another viral trend like 4-1?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, though. Good, because if I worked at In-N-Out Burger, I would just look at the number. I'd be like, oh.
You'd be so mad.
Crap. I'd be like, order 67. And then the entire restaurant just loses its mind.
Yeah.
I guess how many times I spit in your burger? 6 or 7.
Exactly.
Good. So anyway, the number 6-7 is being retired at In-N-Out Burger, some locations. Some have already done it. Some are going to do it soon, but it's about time.
Thanks, viral trend.
I mean, it's a completely harmless viral trend. Nothing wrong with it. But it gets to a point where you're like, guys, okay.
Is this a thing?
I blame your Halloween costume.
Oh, that's true.
It's all our fault. It's all our fault.
Is this a thing we'll still be referencing in 10 years? Is in, can we ever go back to the number 6-7?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we won't be referencing this in 2035.
No, in 2035, we'll be referencing the
8,
number.
9.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. If anybody says 6-7 to combat it, you just go 8-9.
True.
And then the guy's like, wait, what?
Man, but kids are, it's
Does Jones still do the 6-7?
Yeah, of course he does. He's kind of over it, but he's still, yeah.
Don't worry. It will fade out. It will fade out.
Better. All right. Great job today. Back tomorrow at 2. Sean Lewis Show on the other side. If you missed anything, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. Back tomorrow. Greg Camarillo on the show. 1 full hour with Sean Lewis on the other side. And for Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.